Going live. Is the mic even on? Yes, it is. Good. Victoire. I need to move that. Oh, we're good. Right. Hello, everyone. Caradog will be along with us shortly. He's just getting coffee. How are we all? Oh, big stretch. Oh. Oh. My state of feeling well has tanked in the past 2 hours, which is awesome. So hopefully everything goes well this afternoon. However, I've got coffee, had some paracetamol and Ibuse, so hopefully I shall bounce back. Good. Busy week. Fighting productivity as always. The repairs have been fighting me this week. You do something, you think it's done, and then it comes back in again, which is vexing. But it is what it is. You've just got to deal with them as you go. But yes, good afternoon, everyone. Caradog will be here in a moment. He's just getting coffee. Kill it with ciders. Ugh, it's too cold for cider, if I'm honest. I think that's what's not been helping. It's still cold in the UK, or it's cold down here anyway, and so just... I don't know, man. Just cold. It's annoying. I'm bored of being cold. So yes. Right. Do you think £100 to supply and replace palm rest keyboard for Lenovo IdeaPad is reasonable to ask? Yeah, I would. I mean, I would It depends how. Yeah, no, I think £100 sounds about right there. Yeah, based on the, because I mean the palm rest and keyboard assembly, you're going to be paying what, £30 or £40 for that? So you're looking at £60 labour there. So you know, I think that's on the higher side. But if you were to include like just a quick service of the computer as well, like make sure you've installed Windows updates, make sure it's running properly, and you're giving a good finish, I think 100 is fair. 46 on eBay. That sounds like a lot, but if that's how much it costs, that's how much it costs. I've actually bought a IdeaPad 320S palm rest recently, and I think I paid a bit less than that, but it's luck of the draw for whoever's selling on the day. So maybe I got lucky and I picked one up a bit cheaper. But yeah, if it's 46 quid on eBay for the parts, then yeah, you're looking at about 55 profit. So I would definitely say that's very reasonable at that point, yes. So yeah. Right, and yeah, I do actually need to close the, turn off the front of house lights. I was moving stuff out here and then forgot to actually do it. So I'll quickly bust that closed now. Right. So we're going to be carrying on with the office builds first of all today that I started on last week because I didn't get those done. Here comes the boy. Hello, boy.
Hello over there.
He is here.
Good day.
How do Kale switches compare to Cherry MX? For keyboards, I don't know. I've not tried. Caradog, have you tried Kale switches for keyboards?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I like their mouse switches, but I don't think I've tried Kale keyboard switches.
I can't remember what was in that cheap keyboard there Chris found.
I doubt it would be Kale's, but
They were MX knockoffs, effectively.
Don't know.
I should now work. I do.
You do. You're now audible.
Fabulous. Oh yes. That.
Yeah. Pass. Ugh.
I would say that they probably have their own unique feel. Because it does feel like a lot of the Switch manufacturers now are looking to make a brand on their feel as opposed to just, we're mechanical switches that are cheaper than Cherry.
Yeah. Which makes sense because, like, from my perspective...
Yeah, the industry is now established in the sense of people actually wanting them.
Yeah. because previously it was a matter of you know, anyone making mechanical switches, it's a case of, well, you want to make them feel like Cherry MX because that's the only brand that anyone knows. So they want something that is like a Cherry MX, because if they're told that it's like a Cherry MX, then they're expecting it to be good. So yeah,
and kind of we've matured past that point.
Yeah, or at least the enthusiast community has. For me, I still don't particularly care, and yeah, for me, I'm still very much of the opinion of don't really care about brand. I just care whether it's a tactile, linear, or etc. But yeah, certainly in the enthusiast community, that doesn't surprise me. So yes, hello, Paul. As usual, Caradog reports in at 6 decibels too high. Well, look. Caradog has
difficult. It's difficult because I'm used to speaking like this.
Yeah,
and I often speak like this on here.
He has dynamic range.
And then I go, oh wait, I'm on the wrong microphone. I should actually be speaking like this. I should be presenting to the room. Everyone must hear me. And then I forget which volume I'm actually supposed to be using.
Yeah. It depends how much you're concentrating on something as well, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's why I have such an aggressive not limiter, what's it called, compressor set up on my microphone at home, because I actually compress quite hard, even though you're not really supposed to, just because it knocks out that top bit when I suddenly start thinking about something and actually start projecting. So yeah,
I've just taken a decibel out of Caradog, so we'll see how that runs. So yeah. Caradog is just very expressive. We love him. We love him for that. Cool. Wild Floor Lamp says, "I like my keys to be forged from the bones of my enemies." Now, Wild Floor, I don't know if you've been keeping track of him in the Discord, but he chose violence this week. I mean, he's feeling under the weather, so I'm not surprised. But like yesterday, there was much talk of stabbing people with screwdrivers. It was, yes.
I had a day off yesterday. I know. Scandalous.
Yeah.
I've had 3 in the past 24 months. What is this?
Very well. Yeah. I mean, I'm one to talk. I don't exactly take days off either. But yeah. Because I was thinking about it the other night, because there was a event that I wanted to attend that usually happens on Friday nights, but it happened. It was an online meetup, but it goes on at like between 9 and 10 p.m. Eastern time, and that's like 3 to 4 a.m. our time. Yeah. And so I was just like, I really want to make an appearance at least 1 or 2 of these. Yeah. But man, I'd have to plan ahead for that, because basically I need to plan to do an all-nighter, you know. And I'm just like, what if I just took a Saturday off?
Yeah.
And then I could just stay up and then just sleep Saturday away?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but you work Saturdays. You're not allowed to take a day off. It's like, but what if I just decided to just take a day off?
Right.
Imagine such a world, you know.
Right. Imagine if you weren't beholden to, you know, probable actual burnout.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
So how's that queue going?
I want to talk about something else.
So what needs to be built?
Right, 2 computers.
Good.
I suppose we should probably. I tell you what, actually, I'm just going to quickly stack up all the parts we need on the desk, and then we can move them up. We can move them off again afterwards. So we've got 2 motherboards.
Cool. Are they the same?
Don't think so.
No. One's a B560M Pro and one's a B660MA.
Yep, and we'll know which one is which, because one of these is 11th gen and one of these is 12th gen.
I see.
Then we need.
Given that this is all apparently going into an office, I'm fractionally uncomfortable with the lack of uniformity.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I liked about when I was having issues with the Office computer, if you remember.
Yeah.
For some reason, Windows would just stop. A critical process would error every time you use the onboard graphics.
Yeah.
And we spent ages trying to work it out, and then for some reason, putting additional load on the power supply fixed it.
I see. 2 SSDs, 2 RAM kits, Blu-ray drives, power supplies. Those are all identical, so that's easy.
Cool.
And then I think past that...
There is a sealed case here.
Yeah. Yes, these are the 2 cases, and then we've got a pair of graphics cards there as well.
Lovely.
So I just need to check. So basically, I just need to check which case goes to which build.
Yes.
And I have notes on this.
Cool.
Let's see, desktop builds.txt to, right, number 3 is the 12th gen, and that has the other Cooler Master case. So let's start with that one.
Which is that one there?
So I'll take away one set of stuff.
Good.
I can go down there. And I will get the
non-integrated.
other CM. You know, I really liked this Cooler Master S400, having built in the other one.
Oh, that's good.
Like, it's not airflow oriented, so I wouldn't use it for a gaming PC. However, but as a smart looking case, it's really nice. I quite liked it.
And I guess that's kind of the main thing, isn't it? Given they're just office boxes.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not that much of a concern.
Yeah, but with regards to the sort of quote unquote mismatched components, the customer is an opportunist buyer. So basically, he's looking around and just he was a bargain hunter.
Yeah.
So that's why everything is a little bit mismatched, because he's buying stuff when he sees good prices on something.
Yeah.
So whether that saves him a decent amount of money, a worthwhile amount of money or not, who knows? But
yeah.
Personally, I can't be bothered to play that game. But if he can be bothered, then power to him, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I do that when looking at like a specific component, being like, oh, which SSDs are good SSDs, right? Which ones are going to be good value, or which ones are good prices right now. I will need these in the future and just double check, like the price history. Because if the price history is slowly stepping down, I'll generally wait a week or so and just see if it takes another small step down.
Yeah.
Because I'm usually purchasing stuff on I will need this, not I do currently need this.
Oh.
There we go.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I very much confused myself because I turned it what I thought was on.
Yeah.
It didn't instantly turn on, and I went, "Oh, I've done it the wrong way."
I saw a flash from it for a moment. I was like, "Oh, balls! Did one of the lights just go bang?"
No, it was me struggling with switches.
Very good. Very good. And Anthony says, "I always take Sunday off." I should hope so, to be honest. Like, don't get me wrong. You should always have 2 days off a week. You should be doing a 5-day week. If you're doing more than 5 days a week, then that's a recipe for disaster. But yeah, what are the graphics cards? GT 710s? No, they are Quadro T400s, which, to be honest, is probably a GT 710.
Yeah,
but,
T600s. Those two are T600s.
Oh, what's the T400?
And then there's a T400 down there.
Yeah, I'll just check that these were supposed to have T600s in them. T600. Yeah. Don't know where the T400 was supposed to go. T600, T600. No idea. Well, we've got 2 T600s, so we'll log them in. It's very easy to change that out later on if it turns out that I've made a mistake. So yes. Let's see. These are very powerful office PCs. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of...
Yeah.
There's not a lot of reason to go much lower if you're custom building an office computer. You don't really save that much money. And the other thing as well is just, it comes down to the fallacy that people have of, oh, it's only an office computer, therefore it doesn't need to be powerful. And it's just like, it's amazing how much more productive people are when they have good computers. Because so many customers make this mistake where they're like sort of, oh, we're not heavy users, we only just browse the internet and check our email kind of thing. I'm like, well, why does that mean you should have a slow computer?
Yeah.
You know? Have you considered how much better your user experience would be if you actually just bought a good computer?
Yeah. I'm at completely the opposite end of that with the office computers. I'm just like, I kind of feel like I should upgrade them because they're only Zen 1.
Are those Zen ones?
Yeah, because they're 2200G, so they're Zen 1.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, I should kind of upgrade them. But at the same time, I'm like, but I don't need to. But I should.
Noisy moment. Ah! Static shocks.
I thought you'd done an old man.
No.
And just broken your back and locked your knees and was just like,
no.
I'm stuck.
I'm just static shocking across my chest, pulling these polystyrene blocks out. It's the bit that I hate the most about unpacking a case. It happens every time. And no, it doesn't happen when you touch the components and stuff like that. It's just because you're literally holding 2 polystyrene blocks as you pull it out of a cardboard box. That will make static. Why not NUCs for basic browsing office? NUCs are expensive, man.
Because they're, mostly just because of how damn expensive they are.
Yeah, NUCs are either ludicrously expensive or they're potatoes.
Or they're like single core Celerons.
Yeah.
And it's just
which is not even a potato. That's yeah.
It's kind of like, sure, it's only web browsing, but have you seen how much stuff has 4,000 lines of JavaScript in it these days?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the Intel NUC just because they're so expensive in order to be so small.
As what they are,
I guess.
as specifically filling that niche of a good tiny computer.
Yeah.
But I dislike that people try and stick them into every category. It's like, I have an 8-foot desk. Do you know what I can afford to fit under there? An ATX sized computer for 450 quid.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it feels like, sometimes people focus on making stuff small when they don't need to.
Also just, I don't know, the NUCs, they've got some upgradability, but I think...
Were you sticking the standoffs in the board?
Yeah, may as well, yeah. Any fittings and stuff we don't use, lob it back in the motherboard box.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't get me wrong, it's not that I think NUCs are stupid or anything like that. I just have no desire to buy them just because a custom build computer is just infinitely more versatile, I think. I do appreciate the compactness of a NUC and stuff like that, but I think by the time you do that, it's a case of you may as well have just had a laptop. Because once you sacrifice the upgradability and repairability and versatility of a custom built desktop, once you don't have that, well, you may as well just have a laptop. And sure, I guess you've got, big monitor, keyboard and mouse with a NUC, but you could just plug a bigger monitor into a laptop.
And have 2 screens.
Yeah. And the laptop is basically going to cost the same as a NUC anyway. So that's the thing. Yeah, I just I don't get them personally. Yeah. While Floor Lamp says, "Don't hate on my Pentium NUCs. I love me the super cheap ones." Yeah. Well,
it's okay. You're still the person who's like, 8 gigs of RAM is enough for my VM running desktop.
Yeah. You're entitled to your opinion, no matter how wrong it is. Yeah.
Are we using the stock coolers?
Yes.
Ha.
Right, I'm going to stuff this packaging out of the way.
Cool.
Silencio.
This will be my first time handling anything newer than 7th gen.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, it's...
Because it wasn't relevant.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, the pattern on the bottom of that CPU is really odd. Look at it in the light. Yeah. The size of the pads on the bottom of the CPU are slightly different in some areas, so it's got weird patterns on it.
Yeah.
Kind of
neat. Also feels like the PCB is quite thick.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not something I've really paid much attention to. Yeah. The only other difference is obviously it's just like, hey, it's a rectangle now. So yeah. Let's see. Fender says, for the price of a NUC, I'd rather get a super beefy gaming laptop. Yeah, it depends on the NUC. There are some of them that are good bang for buck for the spec of them. But again, it's just I don't like things that are just not
That's how you do
repairable. If you
that.
see what I mean.
Never done that before.
Oh, what, leaving the thing in?
Yeah, I always
Take it off.
I always just go and then put the thing in.
I have to admit, I was very resistant to doing that because I was deliberately resistant because there'd be all the people in the comments going, "Oh, you're supposed to leave it in until you put the CPU in." And however, these days I do that because once you've done it once, you're just like, "Oh yeah, that does work." I don't think it doesn't make a difference. It's just like, my God, unless you've got, as long as you don't have club fingers and you're not just mashing your fingers into the CPU socket, it doesn't matter. However, it is pretty slick. It does work as intended.
Yeah.
SFF type computers, NUCs included, give the luxury of watching Adamant IT2 on a 65-inch TV while sitting in an easy chair.
Do you know what else does that? My smart TV with YouTube built in.
True. Oh, that's got the super new one on it. Yeah, that's got the 12th gen box cooler. Yeah.
But yeah, it's 12th gen.
Yes, but
what?
Look. Let me get the 11th gen cooler. Don't be obtuse. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry. I was just about you went. Oh look, the 12th gen processor. The 12th gen cooler.
I had forgotten that one existed because last week we were looking at the 11th gen cooler, which is.
I wasn't here last week. You'll have to excuse me.
No, you were off gallivanting off with other friends. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. There we go. See, there's the 11th gen one.
Huh.
Yeah. Hang on a sec. Let me I'll bench cam just for the comparison, just because it's interesting, and also I'm just testing new bench cam as well. Huh. Oh, don't know how well this is going to work. I've got to set it up. This is going to take too long. Right, hang on a sec. Bear with me.
So, have they made this easier to understand?
Overhead mode.
I refuse to comment. What's it locking on?
Put that there. Nudge that around.
How? How do you get these to lock?
Like that.
You have to. Oh, I see. Okay, that's fine. I managed to do it in both directions and unlock it in both directions because I skipped it over the little plastic bit, I think.
I see.
Which did me a confuse.
Anyway, 11th and 12th gen comparison. There we go. Yeah, did it. Right, I have not spent a lot of time setting this up, so that's jank as heck. Let's just go back to there for now. I still need a bit of practice with how best to set up this camera. This is the Insta360 Link, which is the fancy gimbal webcam. And first impressions are it's very good. I'm just still figuring out how best to use it, so to speak. Especially when going for desk view mode, because I need a way of being able to rotate the thing. Although actually, hang on a sec, hang on a minute, I'm just going to do a quick test. Bench cam, if I rotate while in desk view mode, no, I can't rotate while in desk view mode. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, that's fine, that answers that question. Very well. And yes, the supporter gift, indeed. I've recorded most of the review, although it's sort of, I've done enough that I need to start editing it so I can actually, once I get to editing, I can figure out if there's anything else I've missed, basically. Because sometimes you just don't know whether you've missed anything until you get to editing. Because that's the point where you'll be reviewing it and piecing it all together as a story, and you'll be like, oh, you know what, I really needed to make a comment about this, or I really needed this particular shot that I didn't get. Blimey, how much for the camera? Yeah, bloody expensive is the answer to that. Yeah, it's the price of it is. Whew, so for what it is capable of, the price is fair because it is so far the best quality webcam I have encountered, and this is comparing against the Logitech Brio 4K, which was the previous king of webcams as far as I was concerned. So it's got superior quality to the Brio, which is very powerful, and it has a gimbal mount. Now, if you want a superior quality webcam, that's going to cost you £150 to £200. And if you want something that's on a gimbal that also has face tracking and stuff like that, then that a gimbal is like, if you put a phone on a gimbal, that's going to cost you £100 or so, you know. So when you account for the fact that it's a high quality camera on a gimbal, 200 quid for a camera plus 100 quid for a gimbal, £320 for the whole thing that fits in the palm of your hand, that actually makes a lot of sense. And the software for it is very good as well. So it's actually had a lot of dev put into it.
Have you tested as to whether it saves settings when you reboot?
I think so. Yes. Yes, it does. I believe. I need to do some actual back-to-back testing to confirm that. However, thus far it seems to be saving settings. So yeah. So the price tag, it's dear, but for the capabilities it has, it's fair. So really it comes down to the fact of, do you need the features it has? If you don't need that gimbal, you're paying a lot for a feature that you don't need. So like for streamers, no, absolutely not. Because streamers, you set the webcam up at a specific angle and then you never move it. So for a streamer, I'd be like, no, go and buy the Elgato. However,
or the Dell one.
Dell?
Yeah, the Dell webcam. It uses exactly the same sensor and basically the same body.
Interesting. Yeah. I'll have to check into that because I kind of want to have a look at one of those as well. Just so, because the problem is I mentioned earlier, before we started, is that this one is definitely superior to the Brio, but also I don't know how good the new streamer cameras actually are. I don't know how they compare. So I kind of want to get hold of one of those Elgatos or the Dell, apparently, to see if they are as good as this. Because if they can match this, then it really is just a matter of, if you need the gimbal, you want this. If you don't need the gimbal, then this is just too expensive.
Yeah, it's the same sensor but a different body. I forgot what it was. Yeah.
How much is that?
£173.
Yeah, that's fairly compelling. Considering the Logitech Brio is still like 140 to 150, it shouldn't be at its current age. Because I think this newer generation of high-end webcams will blow the Brio out of the water.
Certainly because of the sensor size, yeah. And then you've got the Elgato face cam that's 130.
Which one is? Yeah, 130. Yeah, that's really good bang for buck. Yeah. See, but for that price, I have my doubts that it's actually good per se. But also, if it actually does everything it claims to do, then it's outstanding value for money.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you've got the Razer one as well. Which
the
is
Razer one has been
circle one. It's been around for a long time.
That's been around for a while, so I have my doubts that will actually hold up against the newer ones.
I would assume much the same as well. Also, just a fact of, obviously, I'm somewhat predisposed by the fact that it's Razer.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Yeah, Razer have not got a. If nothing else, they're having a lot of trouble with Synapse at the moment, which makes them a bit of an avoid. But yes, would you consider this camera to be as good or better quality than? No, it's still a webcam. It's not going to hold up versus a quote unquote real camera. So like a high-end camcorder or an actual SLR style camera. It's not going to match up versus one of those. However, also, again, bearing in mind that it fits in the palm of your hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that means if you want something for like what I do, where I want to have it on a mic stand and I can just go, ooh, you can't do that with a high-end camera. They're just too big and bulky.
Yeah.
A high-end camera, at the end of the day, you have to have it at a fixed point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go.
What's up, Pianov? How you doing? Please put the CPU cover in the motherboard box. Oh yeah, that's a good shout actually. Just because they sometimes they want that for warranty returns, don't they? Yeah, make sure that doesn't get lost. I did that with the other builds, just in case people were wondering. Good. All right, does the software allow you to move it 360 degrees from the PC? Yes, it does. So, I mean, just an interest thing, let me just mount it up. I'll just do a quick test. I'm just going to pull it over here. Is that in shot at the moment?
Yes.
Okay,
it is very far edge of shot. There we go. You'll probably want to come in a bit just because of how wide it is.
Well, that'll show off how good the zoom is, I guess, won't it? Although, yeah, it is pretty wide. Let's put it to about there. So, go to there, and let's go to bench cam with face. And I need to change all of the things. Why is that? Oh, that's because that one's an inverted one. All right, there we go. Right. Wow, that is a wide angle compared to the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that looks a bit washed out. Oh, that's because I fiddled with the thing. I was fiddling with the contrast earlier on. Let's just
reset it to what it thinks is good.
Yeah, that's where it wants to be. Well, that's on. I tell you what. Yeah, I'll just go auto exposure.
Yeah, just auto everything and just go. This is the out of the box.
Yeah, see, the out of the box thing, the auto exposure goes way too hard. It tends to settle, but like right now, it's got a key light in shot, and it's way auto. Oh, hang on a sec, I've got the compensation up there as well. Let me just kill that compensation. Even still, it's overshooting by a long shot.
Yeah. What if
there we go. The auto white balance has then got it set. There we go. It's settled now. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, this is why I was running it on manual. The auto exposure is a bit hit and miss. The autofocus is amazing. Webcam autofocus is always awful. However, the autofocus on this is genuinely astonishing. So, yeah.
Is that roughly the same width?
Yeah. The problem is it needs to move across to actually be a good shot. Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could just sit it in front and like the other camera will be able to see it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
If I do that, there you go. No, that's not a problem, and that can just go like.
Yeah, we just put it there, and then I'll just. So what I can do now, the whole dealio with this camera now is if I do this, it'll flash at me, and now it'll just automatically gimbal in and track my face. And like, did you see how it just immediately was just like, oh yeah. And what I can do is I can say, okay, that's cool, but I want you to keep my whole body in shot. So let's go to whole body, and it'll pull out, and now it'll just track me, but it'll track my whole body. And I can also say half body. And so now it'll go for that shot, and it will just keep me in. And yeah, and when I'm bored of that, if I just come back to here and hold up my palm again, now it'll come off of tracking and it stops tracking me. So let's just reset position. And then also I do have just manual gimbal control, so I can just tell it to look around. So let's go for a wander. How far can it go? It can go that far. How far can it go the other way around? Hang on. Whoop. Can we go all the way around backwards and see the other camera? No, not quite. But yeah, and obviously it can go up and down as well. So if I just nudge that to the right, there we go. I feel like, well, no, we must be the right way up because it's self-leveling. It's because the wall isn't straight. But yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, at any rate, so that's what this thing does basically. If I were doing this show solo, try doing sort of hands together or something. No? Oh, there it goes. And that's interesting, and it's gone to you because you're the one who gestured.
Yeah, hold on. I now need to. Hold on, come into frame. Right, and then turn it off.
All right. No, that time it did think it was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's fine because
So
I was completely out of frame.
Yeah. So
which is entirely expectable.
if it had gone to you, then I would have been like, "What?" You know, that would have been bonkers if it had gone to you when you did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Although that much being said, how much do you think it's looking at what is out of frame? See, if I come off of tracking, just try holding up your hand.
No, hold on. No. Wait.
Yeah, no, try holding up your left so it's next to you but not next to me kind of thing. If I just pull back a sec, and if you just pull up... I see what you mean. Yeah, no, it is looking at where it's zoomed in,
it has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still not...
Yeah.
And then it just picked up on me. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if it could see... Because obviously, although you're off shot because it's zoomed in, you're still within the camera's field of view.
Yeah.
If it were able to study the whole picture, even when zoomed in, that would be mind-blowing.
That would be very handy as well.
Yeah. Let's come off of tracking. And
just because obviously if it wanders off shot a bit, you can pull it back without having to physically move it.
But I mean, the point of this whole thing is just like, obviously right now, we're doing a fixed perspective, but if you're a one-man show, you basically have a robot cameraman, and you can basically just signal to your camera to start following you around, and you can just solo cameraman basically. So the zoom in and out is disturbing. Yeah, it can be a little bit jank at times.
Yeah, that's reasonably well set up compared to 2.
We go back to, whoop. Yeah. Oh, we need to adjust it a bit more.
Yeah. You can't get obviously the top bottom to be the same because it's a much wider angle lens.
Yeah. Oops.
But
ignore that.
the width of the shot is roughly similar, but obviously
Yeah.
the height is much more.
That's because so we need to come down a bit. Also, it's closer, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
we cannot match perspective because of the angles, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it picked up your gesture, your gesticulations. Then that is one thing I've noticed about it as well. Is I have accidentally triggered the tracking on it before. Oh, hang on a sec. I'm on the upside down. Yeah. Yeah, that's come off. It's also. It needs to have an RGB band on it because the LED ring on the base of the camera, it flashes to indicate when it has seen gestures. But like, for example, right now it's on bright green. When it's tracking, it's on dull green. It flashes blue when it sees a gesture, but like it needs different colors because it's not clear whether it's tracking or not.
Yeah.
If you're not looking at the software.
Is it only green and Is it only green and blue?
It seems that way, yeah.
Okay.
So yes. So yeah, it's interesting, and obviously this is for. I've not tried it in this sort of mode, but yeah, we can stay on that for now. But even still, like for a webcam, that's a pretty good picture. You know, we're obviously looking at the preview, but that's way sharper than the Brio would be. I think also just the problem being that the Logitech webcams are really bad at long range. Whereas I noticed if you put this one onto manual focus, it can focus way further away than the Logitech cameras can.
And can it actually focus?
Yes. Yeah. But by the same token as well, it can't do as much of a close-up as the Logitech cameras can do. But also, the Logitech cameras macro mode is hilarious, and why is it even capable of this? No one knows why. You know, it can focus far closer than it has any need to. You know, so
which is why there was someone who was doing mods to it, weren't they, to basically mount the lens slightly further away.
Oh
on
yes,
the Brios, they were, you know, twisting the lens or something.
That was on the C920.
Was it? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
so that was further. That was further back than that because I had considered doing it on one of mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get around to it. But it was one of those things where it's just like it would be nice to have that, but I don't need it bad. It's nice in theory, but also it's kind of at the point where if you're using a webcam at this kind of distance, then you're using the wrong tool for the job anyway.
Yeah.
But also that's what makes it so interesting that the Insta360 Link is at very long range for a webcam, and it's having no problem at all because it is designed for someone who would be using this to do a presentation. Like a corporate presentation.
Yeah.
Like you can have little markers on a whiteboard, and you can throw up the peace sign, and it will go into whiteboard mode, and it will focus and lock onto the whiteboard.
Oh,
so you can stand next to the whiteboard and gesture, and then you can hold up your palm, and it'll start tracking you again. And it's just for what it's intended to do, it's really, really cool. But of course, you just have to ask that question of, do I need that functionality? Because if you don't need that functionality, you're paying a lot for the gimbal, basically. So yes.
Oh, it goes on top.
Yes.
I couldn't work out what this was for. I was like, swappable front panel?
Nope. Swappable top
No.
panels, silent one, and airflow one.
Yes.
So yes. Right. Anyway, can you imagine Graham doing a corporate presentation? Yeah.
Imagine if you will.
Imagine just for a moment. Right, I have not been paying any attention to chat, by the way, so, you know, I'm just going to have a look.
Where are the case screws?
The case screws, the accessory box is probably in the back.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I was
anyway.
uncertain if you had removed from somewhere.
Yeah. I'll pull this in as actual bench cam now. Oh, I didn't. We probably should have switched to the other one before doing that. My bad. Caught it.
Easy now.
Oop. So we don't actually need an inverted mode anymore because I can click down and it will just immediately look down and auto-invert the picture.
Oh, that's interesting.
So just try and make sure it's roughly straight. Yeah, that's probably about right. Do we need to go that way? Yeah. And it's overcompensating slightly because of the steady cam. That's good enough for America. Right, anyway, so I'm going to turn that back on now. But yeah, I think my favourite part is just the fact that the autofocus on it actually works, because that is actually saying something for a webcam. Whoop. I've got the presenter voice down already. It's true, I could certainly do the presenting voice, so to speak. So, right, I'm going to do... let's go back to face cam, because we're just looking at the top of the case right now. I can actually bin one of our scenes now, because we don't need the inverted bench cam anymore. I've gotten distracted by changing OBS setup. However, if I don't do it now, when will it get done? This is the question. Right. And face cam with bench inverted, we don't need that anymore either. Face cam with bench. Rio. Transform. Rotate 180 degrees. There we go, it's done. And last item of business, all I have to do is rename that source. Rename that to Insta360. Instacam. There we go. All right. Good. Right, back to chat. Let's see. I have the voice of a 70s Open University presenter. I'll take your word for that.
I'll ask Mike for verification.
Oof.
Oh, are there no standoffs in this case already? Hold on. Did I forget to? Oh no, there are.
Yeah.
They just look invisible. Looks like I actually lined it up properly.
Yeah, this is fair. Yeah, this is a no RGB build. I don't think the board won't have any built-in RGB on it either. So no, this is no color. This is a no fun build. So yeah, Wild Floor Lamp hates RGB because I hate colors. Understandable. Anyone tired of RGB is tired of life. First time catching the weekend stream live, enjoying the nattering. Well, welcome on in, Nick Drake. How you doing?
Oh, are these hard drive screws for rails?
I don't know why there's this many screws in. Maybe it's for. I think it is for the rails, but obviously we're not using any of them, so I just chucked them all back in the packet. What's up, Mike? How you doing? The new camera is the Insta360 Link, which was very generously purchased by one of the channel supporters. It was purchased by Colin, so thank you very much. I will be doing a review on this thing. I've started recording it. So yeah, it's expensive, but for a webcam, it's bloody spectacular, quite frankly. As I say, I really want to look at that that Elgato or the Dell. You know, I might just take the plunge on the Dell one and just say sod it, because
yeah, the Elgato is cheaper.
Oh, the Elgato, yeah. I might take the plunge on the Elgato because, like, I didn't want to spend another £130 on another camera, but I feel like I can't give a proper informed opinion on the Insta360 without looking at the Elgato, because the value proposition of this camera really comes down to how good the Elgato is. Because if the Elgato can do the same picture quality, then for this, you're basically paying for the gimbal. Whereas if the Elgato can't match the picture quality of this, then at that point, suddenly its price is very, very reasonable.
Yeah.
Because the Elgato is £130, and that is less than half the price of this. So if it can do the same picture quality and just doesn't have the gimbal, then suddenly it makes a lot more sense.
The gimbal and the software development off of that is expensive.
Yeah, this is true. Steve Higgins said, I had a crowd outside my PC room the other day, thinking they'd spotted the Northern Lights. At this time of year, in this part of the country, situated entirely in your bedroom.
Can I see?
No. Current webcam is a Nikon Z6. Very well.
I mean, I'm not entirely certain that counts as a webcam, but...
Time for Hogan's if you still have them. It's too cold for cider, in my opinion, at the moment.
Okay.
Well, you can have one if you want. I didn't mean to speak for you then.
No, just like, it's too cold for cider. You're inside.
And
You're
I'm
allowed
cold.
to be warm.
Being warm is expensive, man.
Well, just stop being poor.
Yeah.
Something Q.
Q. Just moving that a little bit closer.
Don't worry, I'm going to give this to you to do the rest of it in a second.
Okay. You're doing all the easy bit and then you're going to leave all the plumbing to me. That's fair, to be honest. Yeah. All right, we'll change places in a sec. Let's see, where were we?
I hope they've got lots of mini display ports.
Same, yeah. That's very much. I think they've. I forget what they said their monitor setup was going to be. They have accounted for it though. Yes. I was going to say something and I completely forgot. We were talking about cider and it being cold, and yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've forgotten. I'm going to start again. Oh yeah, what case? That's there. Yeah. Nick asked what Nick Dark asked what case we're using. It's a Cooler Master Silencio S400. Which I think is rather nice, actually. Oh, actually, I tell you what, I'm going to tinker with the camera again because I want to do another test. I'm going to pull it back to here. Now, here's an interesting trick. imagine the camera was sitting on top of the monitor and looking down directly is not at the bench. But what if I did this? Ignore.
What was that?
Oh, that's gone for directly down as well. Interesting. It knows. It knows. Okay. So I've gone for desk view mode, which is where it's supposed to look slightly forward, but the camera has detected that it's at an angle and that it can look further directly down. So, okay. I'm not going to bother explaining this because it's complicated. So, ignore me. I didn't say anything, ignore me. Just move that back up to there again so it can see the bench. Anyway, jump scare carrot dog.
You did just go desktop mode and I was about here.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that is one of the disadvantages. In the software, you can't click between its modes. You have to turn off one mode and then turn on the next mode. So yeah, which is a thing. You just recased your rig into an 011 Air Mini. I like the 011 Air Mini actually. Although the Lianli 011, what's the 011 Air then? Does the Air have
it's the same version. It's the newer version.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to say I wasn't familiar
Functionally,
with the Air version. I didn't know if they'd stuck vents on the front or not. But yeah, I like the 011 Mini. It's not a case that I have gone for myself, but when the 011 first came out, because there's an ITX version of it as well.
God.
I think an ITX version. But the really dinky 011s are just really cute little cases, and they look really cool. And I think the small ones are underrated. So yeah, the Air has a grill on the front. That's certainly what it sounds like. I'm going to Google it now. 011 Air Mini. Images. Yeah, the 011 Air Mini. That's 011 Air Mini. Is that a full ATX? Yeah, I guess it's mini just in the sense of it's not enormous. That's not bad, yeah. And yes, it does have a mesh front panel on it, which it looks fine. I feel like it's missing the point of the 011, because the point of the 011 is that it's got that back compartment that you can intake through. But yeah, I don't know. It still looks cool though. Cool. Have you completed your dark work?
I think so.
All right.
Oh, I just need an optical drive. Jesus.
Let's see. My 4790K on an ASRock is stuck in a boot loop. It won't post. You just get error 36 F2. It won't post. Error 36 or F2 help. Is that as in you're getting that message on screen? Or is error 36, are you getting that on like a postcode reader on the board? Obviously start with a BIOS reset first, would be the first place. No signal at all. Yeah. Where are you getting the error 36 from then? And also for other folks in the chat, just be cool. Like, you know, when people make a nasty comment, it's my policy to just not acknowledge it at first. But if it keeps going on, then I have to acknowledge it. And now we've interrupted the stream to acknowledge it. So everyone in the chat, just be cool. You know, if people are being a nuisance, then eventually I'll pick up on it and I'll just mock them incessantly. However, don't feel like you need to call people out for that. If people are being rude, then you just ghost them, just ignore them. Because it's the engagement that is what they're after. Are you alright there, Carrot Hog?
This toolless clip-in system.
Yeah, the one that I did last week jumped out on me as well, actually. I got it back in again, but it's a bit odd.
Yeah, you also just have to align it with the correct holes, because there's two hole positions.
Yes, I think that is for different versions of the case, depending on how big the front panel on the case is. So yes. And yes, Paul Daniels, he also does the live streams. In fact, we've got to do a shout out for Paul Daniels. Do a shout out for Paul Daniels. I don't think there's a command for it, so just like paste his channel URL in chat or something like that, because he did one for me earlier on. The Paul Daniels live streams are actually really good. If you want to see some... So, well, I didn't mean it like that.
They're actually really good.
I mean they're actually really good because they're better than mine. We just sit here and talk smack. Whereas Paul Daniels actually fixes stuff. Whereas we just stand here and waffle. So yeah. Either way, they're actually good and people should watch them. What's on the workbench today? Just an office build at the moment. Carrot Dog is currently fighting... Oh my god. Do you want me to do it? I did not have this much trouble.
I'm trying to... I think it's because it needs to actually go in the other holes, and there's stuff in this bottom one.
Get out of the way. Graham, do it.
Don't do it by the door.
It's fine.
Oh my god.
It's fine.
Oh my god.
Right. That's going to line up to there.
Yeah, so it needs to be in the front set of those holes to then get the little clippy bits to go in the
That's going to go to there, and that's going to go at the back set of holes in order to line up. 1 and 2.
No, it's not.
Yep, that's in. And if I push the thing, it comes out.
Oh, I see. Oh, I was trying to line up the wrong holes. I see.
So what you're saying is you were doing it wrong.
Yes, I was wrong.
Yeah.
I see. Oh well.
Yeah.
It happens.
Owned. Absolutely taken down.
It's okay. It's fine.
It is. I'm inferior in many other ways, so...
How was your Mulan?
My Mulan. The balloon. The balloon is fixed. It's gone. It was gone a couple of weeks ago. We don't talk about that computer anymore. Well, I might do a follow-up video. However, in the meantime, Johnny Aussie, thank you very much for the 20 quid super chat. Thank you very much for that, actually. Here you go. Now you can afford to put the heating on for the stream. Now I feel bad. However, it's funny you should say that, because about the time when that super chat came through, the heater thermostat clicked on. So thank you very much, Johnny. I greatly appreciate it. Right. Also, just scrolling back a bit. Did we get the... Yeah, we did. There we go. There's the Paul Daniels shout out. Definitely heckin' do a follow.
Oh dear.
Are you good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Leon Sugden, sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Graham, HP laptop not charging. Okay, send it down to me. Not charging. HP laptop not charging. Sure, I'll take a swing at that. Does it turn on and run, but just not charging? So yeah, I would take a swing at that. The address is on the website. Feel free to send it down, and I'd have a look at that. Just a forewarning. I am very backlogged right now, so like expect to be waiting a few weeks, kind of thing. I am horrendously backlogged, so I will certainly be able to take a look at it. However, I'm not fast. If you need it in a hurry, I'm the wrong person to send it to right now. That's a smart meter you must have. Well, there is a smart meter in the shop, but that doesn't make any difference. So.
To what? To when the heating turns on?
Yeah. Are we planning on posting the list of parts being used in these builds? Not really, because these are just office computers. Then, you know, And in
There
addition,
was no input in the specification.
yeah, I have not had any input in this, and like, you know, I have not specified these parts, so, you know, like, the builds are fine. There's nothing wrong with them per se, but as I say, it's not something I've had any input in. And yeah, I took out the splitter on the other one as well because it wasn't necessary. Quite a nice touch that the S400 comes with a fan splitter, so if you're using a low-end motherboard that only has a single fan header on it, they've got you covered there, which I thought was actually very nice. It's unusual to see touches like that come supplied with a case. And yay, computing with the £10 as well. Thank you very much. Here you go. This will help in purchasing the Elgato or the Dell. Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
I'm not saying I'm completely blind, but where the hell's the front panel connector?
Bottom right.
Because the silkscreen for it is there.
It'll be in there. JFP1.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean. That is.
I was looking around the silkscreen for but where's the connector?
Considering how far away the legend is from the connector itself, it's surprising that they bothered putting the legend there at all.
Yeah.
But yeah. And Johan as well with the €24. Johan asks, where did Caradog's name come from? Did his dog get run over by a car? Or did he run over a dog with his car? Does he even have a dog and or a car? So many questions. Caradog, would you care to...
No, and no. Yes.
Do you know the origins of the name Caradog?
Yes, it is my name.
It is.
It was handed down to me.
I was going to say, I believe
over the generations.
I believe it's Welsh in origin, isn't it?
But yes, it's Welsh.
Yeah. There we go. It is a legitimate Welsh name. Welsh is a legitimate language, contrary to popular belief.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So, but yes, it is indeed a Welsh name. Personally, you'd not use a case with a door for an office build. People find them annoying. Yeah, I'm not a fan of doors at all either.
We know.
Yes, very funny. Well done. How to door. No, I'm not a fan of cases with doors either. I think that I don't know where the thing for doors on cases came from. I've never seen a case where it's actually had some kind of practical purpose. It always seems to have been an aesthetic thing, but it's just like, well, so just do a plain front panel on your case then. You know, I don't know. But yeah, as I say, I didn't pick the parts. Other than the door, I like this case, but I think on the flip side, this case, it does have a front intake, but the door allows them to have some... Let me come off of the bench cam. It does have a front intake on the case, but the door allows them to put some sound deadening in front of it, which means you've got airflow intake, but you've got sound deadening in front of the fan. So it does help with making things quiet, but I think that's an outdated concept because modern day PWM fans, you can have quiet and airflow at the same time. It is possible. We have the technology. So, yeah. Totally thought it was an online nickname. It is a name. So, yes. His real name is Stanley Goodspeed, according to Wildflower Lamp.
What?
No, I don't know what that's a reference to either. Speedwagon. Trust no one except Speedwagon. Always trust Speedwagon.
Sure.
Cases used to have doors because of the 5 1/4 slots. Yeah, I mean, you can have a half door though. You know, you can just have the door. Well, I mean, like, why do you need a... Yeah, no, I don't think that answers the question, personally. Is this a fractal case? This is a Cooler Master. It's got the build of a fractal, but yeah, this is a Cooler Master, and it feels really good. I think the only other thing I find it... What do you think about SD cards? SD card readers on cases?
Depends.
Yeah. See, for me, I'm just like...
If it's like a UHS2 compatible reader, then sure. But if it's like a standard SD only reader, I'm just kind of like, I don't see the point.
Yeah.
But also like it actually being proper USB 3, 10 gigabit.
Yeah.
Get wiring. Go.
Okay. In Welsh baby names, the meaning of the name Caradog is affection, amiable. Yeah. I can believe that. I can believe that.
Yeah. And I thought it was a very good pick as well for when I was when I also picked it for a character name.
Of course, yeah. Stanley Goodspeed is the name of the dude from The Rock.
I thought that was Dwayne Johnson.
The 1996 hit film by Michael Bay, you fool.
Oh.
With Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery in it, where they break into Alcatraz. Yeah. Which is a heckin'... I don't care what anyone says. I love The Rock. I think it's a cracking movie. But then I love cheesy 90s action flicks like that. You know.
It's all you're allowed to watch as a child.
That's all I wanted to watch as a child. You know, True Lies, Mission Impossible. Give me all of that. It's amazing. And yeah, I'd forgotten that the guy's name was Stanley Goodspeed. I thought he rung a... Yeah. Oh, well. Right, I've got to... Yeah, Caradog has given me the crappy job of plumbing this up, so let's swap spaces. You've got to read chat now.
Hello, chat. Give me interesting things to say.
Yeah.
True Lies got a TV series. Really? Oh, man. True Lies is one of the very few films that as a family we all loved. Absolutely adored all of it. And would absolutely, as a family, sit down and watch it every time we spotted it on the TV guide.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because we loved it, because it was all just so delightfully silly.
Yes.
And, oh, God, what was her name? Arnie's wife. In the film.
In the film, yeah.
In the film.
Yeah.
Just her running through at the end of the film and just kind of all of that stuff. Very funny. And just like the thing of like dropping the gun down the stairs. Because she went to shoot someone and then dropped the gun down and manages to hit everyone perfectly.
Yeah, which is actually really... It's a very funny scene, that. Like, it's completely ridiculous, of course. Like, I'd be very worried if a gun went off after dropping it, but... yeah.
I mean, but they show how that happened because it like perfectly caught the stare on the trigger and stuff like this. It was just delightfully silly because of how ridiculous. But yeah.
Let's see. Denise, cool. Thank you very much for the €5.
Yes.
Known issue for Asus X99A boards. Stopped working, tried a new BIOS chip from eBay, goes in a restart loop to a black screen with a white underscore. Or to a black screen with a white underscore. So it's not going to be a dual BIOS motherboard, is it? Yeah, I was going to say, I would obviously you don't know if the BIOS chip from eBay actually has a known good BIOS on it. So I would still suspect possible BIOS issues because also the board is old enough that bit rot is a thing. Restart loop or to a black screen with white underscore. I would very carefully, reseat the RAM. Like try just like one module or two modules. Make triple check you're in the right slots. Stuff like that because I think an X99 board is probably going to be fussy for RAM seating and stuff like that.
Where is the tape?
That would be my initial thing.
There. That'll do.
So, yes. Yeah, those are my initial reactions to that. Jamie Lee Curtis was amazing in True Lies. Was Jamie Lee Curtis? Oh, yes, that was her name. Yes. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Right, okay, so I've got to do... Yeah, I've got to do power supply stuff. Right, hang on a moment. Oh! Yeah. Tell you a movie that I want to watch again that I haven't seen in a hot minute is The Fugitive. I liked The Fugitive back in the day as well.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Curtis. Is it Tommy Lee Curtis?
No. Jones?
Tommy Lee Jones, that's the one, yeah.
I was just like, what?
It's got a Lee in it, yeah. But yeah. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Have you seen The Fugitive?
I have seen the opening scene where like they're on the transport.
The train crash. Yeah.
Yeah. That is it.
Very well. Very well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Just because it's a remake doesn't make it bad.
Yeah. Right. Okay, what have I got here? I've got a PCI Express cable, which we don't need, but I'm going to put one in anyway, just in case a graphics card is put into this computer at a later date. It just means that that there's one there ready. I don't believe in plugging in all of the cables to a power supply, but I think there's a lot of value in just putting in something obvious, like a PCI Express lead.
Really? A full Molex chain?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then only 2 SATA. Oh, you've got a chain there as well.
Yeah, there's a long chain one.
I thought they'd only supplied 3 Molex and 2 SATA. And I was like, what?
Yeah, I do like it when they supply a combo chain that's got like 2 SATAs and a Molex on the end of it or something, just so you've got that one Molex connector for that just one annoying peripheral.
Yeah.
That isn't using SATA. Although to be honest, in this day and age, I think it's a non-issue because even the cheap Chinese accessories are all SATA now. So.
Yeah, except for water cooling stuff. The pumps are still Molex.
Really?
Yeah.
Even the brand new ones, yeah.
Well, yeah, because the one that I got a couple of weeks ago, that was...
oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
And like the one I got from EK, that's Molex.
Yeah, well, that was a while back now.
It used to be.
Yeah. Yeah,
we spliced a SATA onto it.
True. What happened to all of the case screws and stuff?
Oh, I put them away because I thought we were done with them because I thought there were ones in the power supply box.
I just won't screw in the power supply then.
I thought there were ones in the power supply box.
Yeah.
I expected there to be 4 in there.
Yeah.
Well, then actually none. Oh no, there we go.
Makes sense. Molex can do 135 watts, SATA only 54. I mean, technically, yeah, but I don't think it's a real problem.
My only question is, when was the last time you saw a 134-watt hard drive?
Yeah, or pump for that matter. I don't know, actually. Do we know how much power like a D5 actually uses?
25 watts, I think. I think the high-end ones are 25 or 30 watts.
Oh, yeah, still well within parameters then. Yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, in theory, Molex can handle higher power, but those crimps are horrible. Yeah. My biggest problem with them is the fact that the back of the blocks don't seem to have anything to stop the pins just coming out on the 99% of the connectors.
No, that's down to the pinning, and yeah, the pins kind of get mangled because it's just it's one of those connectors where the original design is probably fine, but it's been cheapened so much that they're just kind of bad. So yeah, Molex is easier to repin if needed. Yeah, see, I agree with that, but then on the flip side, it's a case of like, when was the last time you needed to repin a SATA connector, if you see what I mean?
Also just like being able to do that.
Yeah, no, not a fan. Not a fan. Firephone said, when was the last time you've had a walk-in who bought a full PC? Had a couple around Christmas. So yeah, but then I don't advertise my PCs enough, which is why I don't sell them. So, right, I'm gonna focus for a sec so we actually get this done. How are we doing for these things covering up the timer?
It's 1 hour 15 because it's 5.
Yeah, cool. Right, screws.
Oh, you can move this.
Yes, it can be moved around. Yeah, that's a better place for it for now. I was going to say, all of the pop-ups go above the bar. Actually, what happens if you click on one while it's at the top of the screen?
One of these?
Click on the settings on the far right. It does drop down if there's no room for it above. Very good. Yeah. The Instalink 360 software, the hotbar for it, if you click on like settings, it will pop out with an additional window. And it is actually smart enough to pop out that window underneath if there's no room above for it.
Oh yeah, but it's not smart enough to not cut the bottom of it off.
Yeah, it's obviously
Which
got.
Is kind of a...
Looks like you could put it in, but you've got it in the middle of the screen at the moment, so that's not a. Yeah, it's smart enough to know when it's at the top of the screen is the important thing.
Yeah. HDR does not... Wait, it supports 4K
It does, yeah. It'll do 4K. Yeah, it'll do 4K 30.
over USB 2.
Yeah. I haven't checked if it's any good or not yet. I did record some test footage. However, I need to actually review that footage so I can like punch into it and stuff like that and see if there's actually detail there.
That does kind of sound like it would get absolutely mangled, though.
Yeah, because the 4K on the Logitech Brio is a gimmick, in my opinion. So I'm expecting the same thing from the Insta360 Link. However, also though the Insta360 Link, oh, it's your phone. It has actually got a superior sensor in it, so it's possible that it can actually provide some value in 4K mode.
Yeah, it's certainly a physically larger sensor.
Yeah. Okay, right. ATX. I'm going to undo that.
It is slightly annoying that it's USB 2 only.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed that it's USB 2, like just because, yeah, because obviously it has to compress the video stream coming out of it. So it's just like, well, if you made it USB 3, you wouldn't have to compress the video stream as much. It's obviously using really good compression.
Yeah.
Versus, you know. And that, again, is down to the superior software in there. That's why, you know, it's called sort of the AI-powered webcam. And usually I roll my eyes when people say it's AI-powered. But obviously their software, their compression, and all the rest of it is very good. So I think they've kind of earned the right to use that term. But, you know, yeah, if they actually made it genuinely USB 3, then they wouldn't have to compress. So, right, that is not going to be used, so I'm going to fold that back.
No, okay.
You got the sneezels.
Yeah, I thought I was about to sneeze again, but I wasn't. It was just the awful state of being like, am I? Is it? Yes. Con Air.
Yeah.
Literally the only scene I know from that film.
Yeah, Con Air's a cracking good movie as well.
Yeah.
You know, again, you know, keeping in mind what you're getting into with it.
Yes.
Right, I'm gonna grab.
What was the oh dear. Thinking back, just a case of what was the last film I watched? I watched the opening sequence for No Time to Die, and I think that's it. I think that's the most recent thing I did. And then before that, it was Labyrinth. I actually sat down and watched Labyrinth because I'd never seen it before.
Is that as in just Labyrinth, not to be confused with Pan's Labyrinth? Yeah.
As in the one with the balls.
Yes.
And the balls.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. What did you think of it?
I watched it going, I'm not sure why everyone said this was a good film.
Yeah.
It is not a good film.
No. It's a very experimental film.
Yeah.
But I still like it. I appreciate its charm.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not to say it's unwatchable or it is bad, but the way that it is mentioned in hush whispers of, you know, people saying, "Oh, yeah, remember this" and all of that. It's kind of a case of no. It is not a classic. It is not fabulous. It is not pushing storytelling forward. It is not brand new genre defining or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was entirely solid as a film, though.
Yeah.
Which is something to be quite commendable.
Yeah, most of its accolades come down to makeup, set design, that kind of production work kind of thing, as opposed to its ability to actually be a like you say, a groundbreaking story and stuff like that.
It has Labyrinth has a lot for certain sectors of the audience.
Yeah, I think certainly yeah, I think some of it is spoiled by weaker sections of the film, like the fire demons or whatever they're called, where they have there's one scene in it which is notorious for being the bad scene, where what's the girl's name again?
Oh, bloody no.
You should. I haven't watched it in years, so I've got an excuse. You watched it the other day. Laura? Sarah, yeah, that's it, Sarah. Yeah, Sarah escapes one thing, and she comes across a bonfire with a bunch of like sort of goblins around it, and they're weird sort of fiery goblins and their bodies come apart, and they do a song and dance. Yeah, and that is a notoriously bad section of the film because it's done on. They have tried to Luma key out all of the puppet operators, and it's just not very good because especially on modern TVs and stuff like that, you don't have to squint very hard to see a lot of figures dressed in black cloth operating all the puppets. And it was just kind of a matter of just like, I'm not sure what part of you thought this would stand the test of time. You should have just not tried to pull this off, And also just, the song isn't very good and stuff like that. And it's just, the whole scene just doesn't serve any purpose to the story and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know.
I thought the thing with the fox was quite funny. You shall not pass.
Yeah, the little night fox. Yeah, he's and
then she goes, well, can I just ask for permission? I guess.
Well, yes. Yeah. you may pass. Yeah. See, there are parts where it's genius.
Yeah, and as Treb said, apparently it's the origin of the one of us always lies, one of us tells the truth riddle.
Is it?
Apparently, according to Treb.
I know it's a very infamous implementation of that per se, but I never would have imagined that they'd invented it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the first time I ever heard that riddle. But yeah, that's actually mind-blowing if they actually wrote it for that film.
Yeah.
Because that's a riddle that you see all the time now. It's a classic.
Yeah.
Oh, Doctor Who had that apparently. And yeah, Doctor Who goes back to 60s or 70s. So yeah, that would have predated it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just depending on when obviously they had it. But
yeah.
But also kind of a case of, I would imagine that there would have been references to it in antiquity.
Possibly, but then I think a movie always has more staying power than a 60s British TV show.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, classic Doctor Who does not have the same cultural pull that modern Doctor Who has.
Yeah, it's also a case of, to a degree, because it's just impossible to watch.
What, classic Doctor Who?
Yeah.
I've never watched it.
Yeah, that's my point. You can't.
Oh. What, is it just not available anywhere?
It's not on iPlayer, but modern Doctor Who's on iPlayer. Old Doctor Who isn't. You can't buy it on DVD. You can't buy it on digital download.
Oh.
So how does anyone in 2023 watch it? The only way you watch it is by owning the old VHS tapes and stuff.
Huh.
Kind of thing. And I'm just like...
Given that modern Doctor Who is obviously one of BBC's biggest IPs in the modern era, you'd imagine that they would be a bit more thing about having BT. I meant BBC. If I said BT, you would imagine that they would be a bit more interested in keeping it available, so to speak.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, of course. I know that you can easily obtain it.
Yeah.
But it's the case of, for the comment of cultural availability kind of thing.
Yeah.
The fact that I can just go iPlayer Doctor Who from whenever Christopher Eccleston was Doctor, I can't remember what year that was, done. Yeah. Easy, simple, finished, but it's just kind of a case of, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All 26 series are on there, not so legal. Yeah, I mean, obviously you can find a stream of it somewhere, but
I can.
Yeah.
Yes.
An actual official stream, It's odd that it's not on iPlayer is the main thing, because you would imagine BBC would want to have their own show. You would imagine they'd want it available on their own platform.
Yeah, and it's kind of a comment that I've made about a lot of the stuff that was made for BBC, is the fact that it's not available on like iPlayer and so on. And I wonder if that's because they did some really bad licensing arrangements.
Maybe. Apparently it's on UK TV, so yeah, maybe it's in licensing hell.
Yeah, and they've just done weird bad licensing problems, effectively. Because that's kind of the thing to me is it's the thing that makes certain classic games impossible to re-release on modern systems and things like that, because like the music that's in them and the licensing on the music and things like that.
That's how games often fall into the legal limbo, is the music.
Yeah, and it's like the biggest example I ever think of is Jet Set Radio Future. Just like all of the music that was licensed for that, apparently none of the licenses are known or something like that, and just stuff like that. So even if you had all of, because I think like the head guy of Microsoft Games was like, I want JSR on the modern Xbox. I loved this game as a kid. And he was like, I don't care what the licensing costs are, we're gonna try and pull it off. And even they backed away from it.
Interesting.
And it's a case of kind of, I can't remember if it was Xbox or whether it was, Sony or something like that, but it was like, these people have money. It wasn't, some small game studio.
Yeah, because also, like, they're big enough that you would imagine they could just turn around and say, you know what, we're just going to publish it and dare someone to challenge us.
Yeah, or also a case of, this studio owns it. They're being difficult. We're going to buy the studio.
Yeah, because that's just it. If someone like Microsoft did that, they could just publish it, dare someone to challenge them. And if someone does actually challenge them, they'll be like, cool, now we know who owns this. I'll buy you.
We bought Activision.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will resolve this issue.
Very well.
Yeah.
Have they got Activision yet? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I mean, we all anyone who expected it to take less than a year or two to get through any sort of approvals was
that's why I mention it, because
misleading themselves.
Yeah, because these things take time.
But yeah, it's a case of, I would expect it to go through, but I'd expect that there will be lots of bits coming off of it. I imagine that they will be required to divest themselves of certain IPs or something. They might be required to like set up a separate holding company effectively for like Call of Duty or something.
Interesting.
That's what I'm kind of expecting.
Yeah.
Just because then the deal or kind of it makes it easier for those IPs to be broken off to other shareholders and for people to still use them and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I guess it comes down to how much they've got to divest before they've actually removed the value of Activision. Do you know where the SATA... Oh, it's there.
The SATA cables are there, next to the case.
SATA cable. We're about done with this one, actually.
Yeah.
This one feels like it was easier to wire than the other one I did, but I don't know. Maybe I just... Sometimes when you're wiring up a case, sometimes the cables just go where you want them to.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, cool. Very good.
Yeah. Although there is obviously the comment of, monopolies and so on.
Yes.
For that. And it's a case of, whilst I don't think Microsoft is good and on your side and so on, I do think that they have a vested interest in and have demonstrated, certainly more recently, a massive interest from themselves as a company to do things that people like.
Yeah.
And to do things that are good for the collective whole, not just themselves.
Yeah.
As long as they can still profit off of it.
For a big bad megacorp, they're not awful.
They are nowhere near as bad as they could be.
Yeah, they could be, and I think it's I don't think it's a good thing to applaud someone for being not awful kind of thing. But at the same time, I'll take what wins I can. There are plenty of other companies that are just awful whenever it profits them. Yeah. Whereas Microsoft, they do seem to do like they've got a lot of blood on their hands for many things. You know, Microsoft. Remember, Microsoft invented the microtransaction. They were, you know,
yeah.
Then they didn't push it to the boundaries that other people did, but they started it. You know, however. But again, you know, as said, there are a lot of ways in which there could be an awful lot. Let me try that again. There are many ways in which they could be significantly more awful than they are, and they choose not to be, which is a lot more than you can say for other companies.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's not as to, and I think the summary of all of that is to not to say that they are good, but just the fact of. They do seem to be avoiding being as shitty as possible.
Yes, and certainly there are many things that they have really pushed the envelope, like cross-platform gaming. We can give thanks to Microsoft for modern cross-platform gaming being as good as it is.
Yeah,
I think
they certainly pushed it much harder than would have been expected, given that they kind of. But it was also a case of obviously they knew that they could make money off of that.
Yeah, they were the ones who stood to benefit from it.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, gamers also benefited from it. So
it's also the comment though of like, well, if Microsoft develops a game for the PlayStation, sells it on the PlayStation, Sony still makes money from that.
Yeah.
And it has cost them nothing.
Yeah.
But they still get to make money from it.
Yeah, because
this corner is very much not in at all.
That explains why I can't find the thing. Yeah, because exclusives are anti-consumer.
Yeah, the only way that that's different is when it's PC exclusive. I would maintain. Just because when it's exclusive because of actual technical limitations.
Yes.
You know, when it is a Crisis 1 moment kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
When it is this doesn't actually even run on 4090s and 3900 KSs.
Yeah, I don't think PC counts as a exclusive platform per se, because everyone can go and build their own PC. It's not a closed ecosystem.
Yeah, but kind of in that thing of not getting console release. But yeah, I think that's the only time it's acceptable is when it is such.
What happened to the top?
I put it away again.
Is it in the box? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
I was uncertain as to whether you wanted it.
Yes. Right. I guess we'll do the obligatory post test on this and just make sure that this starts, and then we'll start smashing out the other one. I'm not going to bother installing Windows on it, and if there's any loose ends that need cleaning up, I'll do that on Tuesday. However, just want to get the main build done.
It's not bad.
All right. Let's see. Let's grab that and that. I wanted to do that gently because I didn't want when I lifted that slightly and the camera tilted back, I didn't want you to be like, "Oh, it's falling." Like.
And to think, haven't had any cyber. Also, do you have mini DisplayPort to HDMI?
Yes. Sort of. I've got mini DisplayPort to big DisplayPort. However, we don't have DisplayPort on anything on this bench, so I'll go and get a monitor with DisplayPort. I mean, we could just look for the post light and be like, there we go, good enough. But then there's always going to be someone in the chat that's just like, see it post. And it's like, right.
Is something finally going to explode now? Is that the only way you get your kicks, wild floor lamp explosions?
Oh. Where was it?
Yeah.
You know, I'm not sure. Has this thing got mini DisplayPort? No.
There should be a white DisplayPort to mini DisplayPort cable in the cable box, because I should have chucked one in there.
The white one is mini to mini. There is a black.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a black mini to full. However, because I was using it the other day, but
no, it's mini DisplayPort to DVI.
yeah,
That's what that one is.
yeah, and I've no idea if that one actually works or not.
Oh yeah, Sony VR2. That does look good. Have you seen anything about the Sony VR2?
I know everyone's raving about it. However, apparently getting it to work on it's just you're not going to get it working on PC.
Probably not.
And
Yeah.
for that reason, I don't care. Basically,
I care because it means more developers developing VR experiences.
That is true from that perspective. Yes, that is very commendable because it garners interest. Because in fact, actually, I think that's a bigger point than I'm giving it credit for. Because one of the problems that VR has right now is all of the new PC headsets that are coming out
aren't actually PC headsets.
Yeah, they're all designed for being used in like an office environment and for like virtual meeting spaces. And like you say, they're not PC headsets; they're standalone headsets. And whereas the PSVR 2 has come out and it's just like, what if we actually make a gaming VR headset, which is what people want?
Yeah.
And it's quite affordable as well, unless I'm mistaken, isn't it?
I can't remember. I think it was £500 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was
that's exactly the product sector that I think a lot of people are actually looking for.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, yes, it's very good. I don't know where this sodding cable is. I had one. It must be over here. I'm losing interest, and we're just going to look for a post LED in a minute. Right. Big to big. Big to big. We could try this. No, that's not even mini. Nope, that's mini to DVI. We could try this mini to DVI and see if that works. I don't even know if this cable works.
It should do, but it might have timing issues. Because that's the issue I found with it. I couldn't remember, because you know the 30-inch Dells, the old 30-inch Dells, they're DVI only, but they also have a broken DVI timing controller or something.
Oh, right,
They have a hardware fault on the DVI timing controller.
Yeah.
That means they only worked with certain graphics cards.
Also, they need to be dual link and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they only apparently worked with certain adapters
Oh.
on certain graphics card, just DVI controllers or something, because they were basically factory faulty.
Weird.
Yeah. There was, just piles of threads on it.
Right, if you plug that in, I'll grab another kettle. Oh. There's a kettle lead that's supposed to be there, and it isn't. Right, here is Anne kettle lead. Oh, it's not going to reach because this isn't the long one. Don't know where the long boy kettle lead has gone. All right, time for Jank. Jank on this podcast.
Oh, it's only a flat.
There we go.
Why is this screwed in? And why are these
because
always mounted so close to a flat surface?
It's screwed in because why would I ever use DVI? Hang on a sec. Have you got it? Yep, cool, okay.
But it's also just, why is it always mounted so close to a flat surface?
Yeah.
When it could have come out here and actually been screwable. Wait.
Turn the cable over 3 times.
Observe.
Right. But, well, we can observe.
Yes.
Bam. Did you plug in the front panel?
No, I didn't.
That was probably my job.
I didn't cable anything.
I might have forgotten to plug in the front panel. Get this out of the way. I made this mistake last week. This is exactly the mistake I made last week. I forgot to plug in the front panel headers.
Like, I just PC work. I've broken it.
My days. My days, Caradog, all of them.
Oh, dear. Mistakes have been made. There you go. Which monitor is this?
Either.
Oh, it's a 2412M.
Yeah, it's one of your ones, I think.
Yes. I was just like, oh yes, this is quite a nice monitor.
Yeah. Oh no, I lie. That's one of mine. The two that are on the workbench are yours.
Ah.
Okay, right.
As Sai says, everything is jank.
Hard drive LED. Reset switch.
Damn it, world floor lamp.
What's he saying now?
Notice how they don't show you the cables. The monitor isn't showing this PC because it doesn't actually post. Wake up, sheeple. Ah, now I am woke.
Fake and gay. All right, power LED and power switch. Okay, right. And the other... have I got somewhere I can plug in this other fan? Yeah, that's going up there.
Yeah.
That needs to go up high. Can I get that out of there without undoing it all?
Shall it be faster? Did it.
Right, that goes up to there.
Bacon gay, Enola Gay's brother. It was a good 1-2 setup there.
Okay, right.
Press the button and receive VRM fire.
All right. Say the line, Graham. Ignition!
Oh look, it turned on now. Why did that? Oh, because there's an optical drive.
Yeah, optical drive, yeah. Okay, right. It's RAM training.
There we go.
Boot VGA. Oh, yeah. Right. Revolve the monitor. There's writing on the monitor. That means we win. There's not writing on it now. It's power cycling. That's fine. It's power cycling again.
Is it because there's no keyboard and it's being weird?
Don't know.
Also, why the hell does the optical drive sound like that?
Because it's an optical drive, they all sound like
Mine
a bag of
doesn't
nails.
sound like that.
Yeah, you've probably got a Panasonic or no, a Pioneer or something like that though. There we go. We've got BIOS set up now.
I can neither confirm nor deny that my optical drive was like 90 quid 2 years ago.
There you. Well, £90. Yeah.
Your CPU is at 2.5 gigahertz.
Yeah, that'll be base speed, won't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just used to everything boosting all the time, always. What is 95C?
Very good. Right, it works. Power off.
A safe operating temperature.
And also, that also confirms that this cable works, which is good to know. At least good enough for testing, anyway.
Yeah.
Very good. Right.
It is a delightfully oddball cable to have. Mini DisplayPort to DVI.
Yeah, well, it's handy if like us, you've got a lot of these old Dell Ultra Sharps lying around, because these Dell Ultra Sharps are really good monitors.
It's handy because I had 980s with triple DP.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, with triple DP mini HDMI.
That's such a weird I/O on those graphics cards. But yeah, at any rate, if you've got a lot of these Dell Ultra Sharps lying around, they're really cheap. You can pick these things up for like 50 quid on eBay, and they're actually very good monitors.
Yeah. I still
even
have
by modern standards.
I still have 16 stands if you
16, damn.
yeah, if you want more.
Yeah, I mean, if they're taking up space, I'll take a couple of them off your hands, just because I definitely have more monitors than I have stands. However, the two over there on the bench are obviously arm mounted, so it doesn't matter. The only reason why I don't need any stands is just because I arm mount everything, because never not.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I was thinking more just when you see the cheap ones go on eBay for like 40 quid with no stand.
Yes. Yeah.
They're just sat under a desk.
Yeah. I should probably buy a couple of those in for selling to customers, because I do get people coming in wanting to buy cheap monitors for their gaming rigs. And when you say sort of, oh yeah, monitor's about, you know, £100, 120 for one that's not terrible.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, and it's like, that's just how much they cost, man. You know,
Yeah.
really, you need to be spending £140 to get something that's got an IPS panel in it.
Yeah.
But, you know, an IPS 16 by 10, you know, 1920 by 1200 monitor for 40 quid, just hell yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's a great deal. Ugh. Right, that is done. Ooh. Right, what's going on in chat?
What is going on in chat? Are they IPS monitors? Yes, these ones, the 2412Ms, are definitely IPS.
Yeah, any ultra sharp that is a U series will definitely be an IPS.
Yeah.
And most of the P series are IPS as well, I believe.
Oh, really?
I think so. Yeah.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, I think a lot of the P series are IPS.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Does that work on variable refresh gate?
Oh yeah, that's the disadvantage. They'll all be like 60 or 75 hertz. So you're not going to get.
These are all 60 hertz.
Yeah, you're not going to get high refresh on these. But
no.
Yeah,
they're designed to be art screens.
Yeah.
By a category. Office boxy, art screeny type things.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're kind of good for that. They're very good for desktop use.
However, if you're trying to spend less than 60 quid on a monitor, you're not buying a gaming monitor.
Yeah, you're certainly not buying anything that's decent.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oop. Right.
What would be a good price for a Dell Ultra Sharp? It depends which model you're buying, but basically a case of look at eBay, look at Amazon, look at the Dell website, because one of them will have a deal running on the Ultra Sharp. Dell seems to always be running an offer of some kind on its monitors. And if it's not on its website, it will be on Amazon. And if it's not on Amazon, it will be on eBay.
For brand new monitors, Dell have got high refresh Ultra Sharps now, which is nice.
And some of them are crazy cheap. Because as Si was saying, there was one of them that was saying like 97 quid.
What, for a high refresh?
Yeah. That one.
Oh yeah, for 1080p, 190. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, because like
there was a bunch of deals that you could stack up on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that'll be Si heckin' doing his bloody coupon game. So
I think it was about 125 quid. Otherwise, but yeah.
Yeah, then Si is like an American Walmart Karen with his coupon game. But by the time he's done, you'll owe him money. So yeah, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Good job. Right, okay, tell you what, we'll swap positions. You start building up that motherboard.
Shit. Damn it.
Stop making a mess.
I prefer the other motherboard already.
How so? What, just because it... oh yeah. I mean, I like the actual finned heat sinks. I think this is way better than the extruded aluminium style ones, because these heat sinks will be vastly more effective. Especially if you're using an air cooler, or at the very least the stock cooler. What's this? Is this the 12th or the 11th, Jen?
11th. What's its LGA 12?
Yeah.
100? 1200, yes. Is that then? What? How do? Oh, I need a second standoff? I don't understand already. Wait, does that go through that? Is that that? Ah, that's that. Does that then go? Requires more standoffs.
Good old coffee stain on the mouse mat. Yeah, this mouse mat needs cleaning.
Are there more standoffs in the motherboard box for the M.2?
Probably. What happened to the motherboard box?
I don't know.
You opened it. It's there.
No, I didn't.
Didn't you?
You opened it. That's what I'm asking you.
Okay. Well, Look, I don't remember what happened 30 seconds ago. At the point when I opened this motherboard box.
Excellent.
We're going to
We
want
also
that as well.
require that and the SATA.
SATA. Have we got any more?
I mean, we've got one in here.
Yeah, use that one.
Do we only need one? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you worked that out last week, didn't you? Midweek. That was just the wrong number ordered, not that you needed multiple per machine.
Correct, yes. All right, I am going to boil the kettle.
Very well. I will continue building things.
Yes. Let's see. See if I can find something to waffle about while I go and boil the kettle. Did some extra work recently and splurged on a 49-inch Samsung. No. Yeah, I get neck ache using it. It's brilliant.
How small is your desk?
Says Caradog with his like 3 meter long, 2 meter deep desk or something. Where it's just like, sir, that is not a desk. That is a dining table. You know?
I'll have you know, it's classified as an executive desk.
Good, right.
However, yes, its size is significant.
Make no mistake. Carol, do you want another drink?
Yes, a coffee, please.
Okay.
Thank you, good sir. Ah!
Are you
Screws
well?
escaping. Ugh. Right. I am not entirely certain how I feel about these English, please. How I feel about the M.2 heatsinks on this motherboard.
I'm making noises, so I'm going to abandon my
As long as you're not making noises of, you know, kind of slowly dying and deceasing.
I'm making noises of overflowing water.
Help! Help! My waters, they're leaking. Wait. Never mind. Moving on. Stupido. There you go. Right. What's happening here? Executive for Caradog doing executive work. Exactly. I'm important because I have a big desk. Caradog seems like the person sitting in front of an executive desk. Exactly. Because I do executive work on my executive desk. But I think the funniest thing is I actually have a smaller desk in the office than I do at home. The place where I actually do work, I have a much smaller desk. Have the intern bring him coffee. I probably make the most coffee in the office out of everyone. I am the kind and generous boss. Oh, my staff, they require motivation. I mean, but imagine you saying that with other substances, though, other than coffee. Going, oh yes, can I drug you to increase your work output? Can I give you a coffee so you do more work for me? Exactly the same. But yes. Anyway, hi.
I've only been half. I can hear you. I've been. I can't. I'm making too much noise to hear what you're saying. I can just hear. I can hear that particular tone of voice when you're halfway between a rant and just a. And another thing, you know, it's not quite an angry rant. It's just a. I have opinions and I'm now going to state them, you know. Or just. Have you ever thought about, you know?
Have you considered? Don't get ideas. About what, Si? What am I not supposed to be having ideas of? Or about? What am I not supposed to be thinking of? Do not think of the pink elephant. What goes on motherboard? Oh, processor. Where is the processor? There's the processor. No, that's an empty processor box. Are you okay there?
Yes, I was just
Good.
looking around as well.
Oh, don't get ideas about drugging the staff. Well, I mean, if they sign up for it in their contract of employment, does that then make it legal? Your performance shall be enhanced.
I'm going to get my thing, I can hear a kettle boiling.
Oh, the 11th gen cooler has the push pins with the arrows on, whereas the 12th gen one has no arrows on its push pins. Here's your contract. Here's your blue pill. That's a different place of employment.
I will make it legal. Oh, can I see your microphone? Are you flashing? Yeah, we're both flashing. Oh, that's bad.
Oh no! Our microphones, they're flashing.
Well, this one should be fully charged, so I don't know why this one's flashing. Like, your one didn't get charged from last week, so I'm expecting your one to die at some point.
Oh, see, that's far more reasonable.
So from the angle I was at, it looked like it wasn't seated properly, but I'll just assume that I'll assume you had a better shot on it than me. Yeah, is it just me, or is the socket like lower than the CPU on the newer ones?
Oh, maybe. It might be fractionally.
Yeah. It is in properly, though, is the most important thing.
Motherboard box. Motherboard box.
Right.
I'll be entirely honest and say I have no idea what I was talking about, but stuff and things. Oh, yes. Drugging stuff.
How's chat going, you know?
Si's
right.
just, off on one, encouraging me.
Oh, no.
I mean, I think floor lamps on in agreement as well.
Floor lamp is probably he's under the weather, so he's probably on drugs as well. So something like the madhouse being run by the mad people, or something like that. This Antec case is disappointing. The front end of it has got a brushed finish on it that looks nice, but the plastic surround on the front is just really cheap, nasty plastic.
There we go.
So yeah, that's kind of cheap and nasty.
Ow!
All right, there.
I stabbed a bit of heatsink or something up my fingernail.
I don't like that. Gives me conniptions.
Oh, yeah. Why won't this thing? How to... Am I done? Do I twist it?
No.
It does not require the twisting.
They go the opposite direction of the arrows to be in the correct orientation.
Fine. There we go. I've never used the stock cooler. Like, ever.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Because I feel using a stock blower like this on an i7 is a recipe for poor performance.
Works okay on the GPU rig.
Oh, we're just going to start up this test.
As long as it's not a mixed load, if it's GPU only, it's fine. Wow, the Link doing a really good job of just focusing on your hair there. There we go. Autofocus. Okay, I'm going to move away from that shot in a minute. I'm just going to... No, let's just come back to here. Let's try that. I'm going to make a second attempt at using the fancy desktop mode. There we go. There's fancy desktop mode. Where it automatically looks forward. However, this has got mad keystoning on it. See, look at that. It looks like we're directly overhead at the moment, right?
That is impressively... Other than... Oh, yeah, it's got a problem with the circle.
Yeah.
But yeah.
However, when you lay this down flat and you actually get a square and you see the keystoning...
I don't like it.
Yep.
I don't like it.
When you see the keystoning in a minute, you'll be like, oh!
Oh, these aren't captive.
Yeah, I hope this case was like less than £50.
The other case was definitely nicer.
There's the keystoning. You can see it coming in. You're like, oh, what's going? Oh, we're not looking forward enough. I shall adjust it again. See, this is my first opportunity actually testing this properly as a bench cam, and it's tricky. Do that.
It's tricky.
I know what you're referencing, but I don't know enough of the words to do it. You know, despite the keystoning, that's not awful.
Yeah.
And like, it does put the camera out of the way.
I also just love how not straight any of the camera gimbal is.
See, that
the base is like this. The gimbaling is there, and then the other thing's like this.
This is also why I'm interested in this camera for using it as bench cam, because I don't have to mess around leveling it. I can just basically just throw it up there and it will just find where level is. So, yeah. Cases these days, you've got to add an anchor or they'll float away. Yeah, that's very vexing.
Do you care about those two screws there?
Yes.
Very well.
It's a customer build. It needs to be done properly.
Stay.
This is not your office computers where you need one screw holding the motherboard in.
I'll have you know there's two between 7 computers.
Oh, where's the accessory kit for the case? There.
I do hope this case was cheaper.
Yeah.
I like that it's got a front 140 though, even though the mounts are actually 80mm. Like the actual airflow was originally cut out for 80mm and stuff.
Nah. I mean, it's an office box, so it doesn't matter. However, yeah, this case is having just come out from the Cooler Master S400, which I don't know what obviously there's going to be a big price difference between them, but the Cooler Master actually felt like a really high quality case, whereas this feels like a cheap case.
Yeah,
which
I actually like that S400.
Yeah, I'm very impressed by that case.
Yeah.
I'm interested in looking. I wonder if there's an airflow version of it.
Yeah, because I'd be interested in that exact case as like office cases.
I suppose, yeah. I don't like the door on the front, basically. I don't like front doors on cases.
Yeah, I like it because you basically never have to use it and it's just straight front.
Yeah, that's fair. Where are we going?
Yeah,
there.
just that one and then the top left. Sorry, top right. Whoop.
The NVMe heatsink thermal pad hasn't been peeled. Did you not do the peel? See, if it were my PC, I wouldn't do the peel. I want to keep it nice. However, on a customer rig, we will do the peel.
Fair enough.
Because the problem is, like, we know that we're deliberately not peeling it, but if someone else maintains the computer, they'll be like, oh, they didn't do the peel, bloody pillocks, they don't know what they're doing. And it's like, no, we deliberately don't do it because we just want to keep the thermal pad in nice condition. Because it really doesn't matter for this kind of build.
Yeah, also for a P3.
Yeah. However,
P5. Did you supply the SSDs?
No.
Okay.
However, I always build on the assumption that some other computer shop that doesn't like me will be the next people to service it, and I don't want them to have any ammunition.
Yeah.
Mentioned the backlog. Got anything interesting? No, they're all just nonsense. Doesn't they're all just nonsense jobs that are like doesn't charge or doesn't power on or just annoying repairs that I don't want to do or just are nightmares to track down. There's a few interesting ones in there, but they're definitely more. I'm having a lot more fun. I'm not recording a lot of repairs at the moment because I'm having more fun doing learning repairs where I'm doing a fix and I'm focusing more on learning about the fault instead of trying to make a video about it as I go, which is enabling me to absorb information better.
This was the bag from the case.
Yes, correct. Yeah. So. Anyone know a case that'll fit two 500mm by 100mm by 60 rads?
No.
Yeah, what's a 500mm? It's a 480 class, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's 480 class? Is that 3 140s or is that 4 360s?
I fucked the stand off.
Yeah, hang on a sec. Let me get some appropriate tools for this situation.
I just hecking hecked the stand
Yeah,
off.
I didn't tighten them properly, so.
I also cross-threaded it.
Oh, you fool.
I put it in, it clicked and went, that'll be fine.
I have a standoff screwdriver specifically for this. Okay.
Specifically for screwing the standoffs.
Yeah, all right, let me find one of the backup ones. Watch there be none of them in the backups. There's one.
Oh, these are metric standoffs?
Possibly. It is entirely randomized. Right, have you extracted things? Right, there's a standoff screw. Screwer upper.
Literally every single one of them needs doing.
Oh, I just sent the standoff flying.
Oh, what?
Does that fit?
No.
Oh, is it too big or too small?
It's too big.
Too big, okay. Pass that here. I will find... oh, I've spotted it.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, it's over here. Oh. Right, there's the thing.
Oh, you extracted it?
Yeah. Right.
Excellent.
I
was expecting that to be annoying.
It was surprisingly not too tight, but yeah, it's once it's out, it's easy.
That was right-angled USB 3 header. What's your thoughts? We'll need specialist soldering kit or best to leave it to it. Oh, the actual. So, have you got a pin effectively missing from the USB 3 header on the motherboard there, Mike? Do you have your drivers?
I don't know where it's gone. Oh, I tell you what, actually, it might already be over here. Oh, I know where it might be. Here it is. There we go. There's the nut driver for standoffs. There we go.
Excellent. Ah, yes.
Damaged right-angled USB 3 header. Yeah. They're mostly blimey. They are mostly all crushed or missing. Okay, so it's proper lunched, this connector. You can soldering iron hero. You can soldering iron hero it.
Do you have a different standoff? Just because that
probably.
one's not engaging properly in there, it's just spinning.
Oh, okay. Is the thread shot?
It appears so.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was a factory fitted one.
Let me just run a die through it.
Yeah, because all the other ones are done up absolutely fine, but I think that one might have just been overly done.
Yeah. Let's just try running the die through it and see if it cleans the thread up. Let's see. Yeah. Right. All crushed or missing. Yeah, you can soldering iron hero that. Just take them out one pin at a time. The hard bit will be finding some new pins that are right angle pins. So you might.
Oh, they're right angle pin. Oh,
yeah, it's a right angle
God,
connector.
They will be, yeah.
Yep. So the pins will be at right angle because basically it will be the same plastic surround as a regular one. It's just the pins coming out the back will right angle into the board.
Oh.
So that'll be the hard bit. You'll need to find new right angle pins. Or I mean, you might be able to find an entirely new connector. Can't take the right angle ones. You should be able to pull off the plastic surround and be left with bare pins.
Oh, I see.
And once you're down to bare pins, you can just single pin desolder them. This does not feel good. It is picking up the thread, but it's not cutting anything, so I don't think we're actually... Yeah, no, that I think that's shredded. In which case, that'll just have to be I think that's going to be just a locator one. Just lay out on a sec. Let's just...
What's that called?
That off. This is called a die. It's from a tap and die set. However, I believe that the tap is the outer thread and the die is the inner thread.
Outer thread?
So yeah, if you wanted to redo the threads on a bolt, for example,
or sorry, as in outer thread, as in that's an outer thread, that's an inner thread.
Yes. So the tool that would fix the threads on the bolt would be a tap, and the tool that fixes the threads on the hole is the die, if my memory serves me.
Excellent. Where's the standoff gone?
Oh, apparently it's the other way around. Die for bolts, tap for holes. Okay. The standoff is...
Is it over there because you were looking for the size?
Yeah, maybe I picked it up and moved it over here. No, I must have brought it back. Hang on a minute. Ah, there. Yeah. Give that another whirl. If it won't pick up properly, then just leave it in there just to provide down support, but just don't put a screw in it, which is less than ideal, but not the end of the world.
It won't actually hold on the surface. It will just skip.
Yeah, fine. In that case, leave it in there because then at least the board can press against it for support.
Yeah.
And there's going to be 7 other screws around it, so the board's not going to fall out. Yeah. Okay. So. Tempted about a narrow heat gun to remove it. Yeah, it is. It will come off. You'll just have to. You sometimes have to be a little bit vicious. I don't think heat will help you without although, well, heat will damage the plastic surround, but then you'll, and then potentially you can't reuse that if you need it. Not sure without seeing a picture of it. So yeah, ultimately though, I think because of the right angle pins, you're going to need to track down a entirely new connector anyway. So you'll have to search eBay or somewhere like that for USB 3 header 90 or angle USB 3 header or something like that would be the search terms I'd be looking for. And then because that will be a complete connector, if you want to replace the connector on the board, when you single pin desolder the old pins, you need to make sure that the holes will be all clear. That will be the hard bit, unless you're very good with wick or you have a desoldering gun. So if you've got a connector that is just completely munted like that, it's absolutely doable. I could do it, but also if you're not already experienced with soldering, that will be a difficult job, I think. Not going to say it can't be done. It can absolutely be done, but that will be difficult without having additional tools and experience on hand. So make of that what you will, I think. Loctite thread lock. The thread lock won't help if the thread's completely shredded because there's nothing for it to hold on to.
That's unfortunately, it's actually missing the metal to bind onto.
Yeah. If you're completely stuck on that one, Mike, and you've got just, like if you're stuck to the point where you're like, oh, this board is now worthless because the front panel header is no good, then hit me up and we could do a thing maybe, maybe the crossover will actually happen.
There you go. Where is the GPU?
Yes, there. Good. All right, I'm going to carry on doing chat while you carry on building at the moment. Floor Lamp says you can still do it soldering iron only, just lead up all the pins, then wick off most of the solder, wiggle the soldering iron along the pins, pulling the entire thing out. Yes, that I can see that strategy working. Again, I feel like that's a more experienced... The thing about soldering iron hero strategies is when people are saying like, oh, how to remove something that would normally require a hot air station, people are, oh, you can do it with a soldering iron only, and it's like, yeah. However, the soldering iron technique for that is usually a more advanced technique, and if you're capable of doing that technique, you probably already own a hot air station. So it's often weird in that way, is that a lot of people, when they're showing off a soldering iron hero technique, it requires just as much skill to use as just buying a hot air station. Which is not to say it's not a valid answer, but it's just an interesting observation. When someone says, oh, you can do this just with an iron, a lot of the time that's the hard mode.
I would say that buying a hot air station isn't particularly high skill. It requires you to go to a website and click a button.
Yeah, sorry, that's the wrong term. But a lot of people don't buy a hot air station unless they're intending to get good at soldering iron.
Yeah.
At soldering. So that kind of comes down to a what's your objective, so to speak.
Ah. Hello, it's the black square.
Yeah.
Well, trapezoid.
Low melt solder will help. Yes, yep, low melt solder will definitely help. I actually got good the other day. I did an Xbox Series S HDMI port. It's actually my first successful HDMI port replacement on a Xbox. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, the first time I've actually done it successfully. And
what happened the other times? What, it just didn't give a picture?
Yeah, or failing that, when the traces were damaged where the port had been mangled, so it was a really nasty one, and like an absolute pro would have been able to save it, but I just didn't have the talent to save it after the trace had already been torn by the jack being broken up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
However, this one, I went in and I used low melt solder to make my life easier. I used.
Oh, you actually bought some?
Yes, I used assistive hot air to help when I needed more heat to the soldering iron and stuff like that. I did all the techniques I'd learned about, and it worked.
That's cool.
And I was like, when I did it, I felt very confident. And then when I actually went to plug it in to test it, I suddenly got a sickening feeling in the pit of my stomach, thinking it's not occurred to me that this might not work. And then it just came up and gave a picture. I was like, it's fine. I did it.
I am the pro.
I actually learned, the practice and the additional knowledge and techniques that I have been trying to absorb actually worked, Yeah. Yeah, I was very happy with myself. Anyway, might take a leisurely drive down to you and let you have a look at it. You'd be more than welcome to do that, Mike. I'd be interested in doing a thing. If you are going to do that, if we are going to do a thing, let me know in advance so we can make sure that we have a brand new connector ready. Because if the whole thing is minced, then I would just say we should probably find a new connector. So, yeah.
I presume there aren't any AM3 boards that have a right angle connector to steal one off of.
I doubt it. It's worth having a look around because I've got a collection of AM3. No, I mean, all of the AM3 boards will be lucky if they've even got front panel USB 3 on them.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought mine did. Oh, yeah, but
some of them do.
But then I bought the Ultra Tough 9s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Don't forget.
It was the only AM3 board that cost £400.
AM3 is a potato. Like, yeah.
Hi, it only supports PCIe 2.
I'm still running an FX and it's fine. It's not fine. Just you've got you have Stockholm syndrome. Yep. Anyone who's still, I mean, if it does what you need it to, it's fine. I'm not trying to shit on your PC, but anyone who is still defending AM3, I genuinely think you've not looked at a modern motherboard in a long time. Just saying. It's a hot take, and there's going to be someone in the comments who's upset by that, but facts be facts. I'm sorry, FX 150 goes slow. Well, that's the problem. Even an FX8 goes slow. There's just, there's no saving it, man.
Wait, why is there a foam block here?
Why is there a foam block here? Oh. How weird. Don't think that's supposed to be there. Where is the video of the HDMI fix? I did not record it. Again, as I say, there's a few fixes I've been doing recently where I'm just like, no cameras for this. I don't want Because, like, don't get me wrong, I've got on-camera confidence. However, even when you're recording to a local file and you're not doing it live, you're always conscious of the camera. And sometimes if you need to sit down and practice a repair, the best way to do it is just to not be, just don't be recording. Just don't have that nervousness of trying to look good on camera kind of thing. Just so you can sit down and be like, right, I need to know how to do this, you know. However, that much being said, I've got an Xbox One X to do next. Sorry, I've got an Xbox Series X to do next. And that one I will probably record because I think I'm going to be confident enough. Having practiced on the Series S, I think I'm brave enough to go for the video on the Series X. I think the other reason why I'm a bit scared of Xboxes but bottom line is there are more talented people than me who do console repairs. So when I do a console, when I do a console video, I want it to look halfway competent. I'm not saying that I have to be the best, but I want it to actually be competent per se.
Yeah. It was also a case of look how well the Xbox hard drive replacement video did for you.
It's true, yeah. It's true. Although there's a lot of information missing from that video that I just got really lucky and just didn't seem to encounter a lot of potential issues that can come up with that. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Steve Higgins says, that was the graphite moderator. It'll explode without that foam block. I thought it was funny.
This is not a nuclear reactor, I hope.
Let's see. You went from an i5 4590 to a 5700X. That's a big jump.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Leon Sugden says, I still use an FX 9590 as a home server. Yeah, I don't know how well they idle.
Oh my God,
I was gonna
that will idle at like 225 watts.
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like it's, for a home server, that's really inefficient. However, it'll do the job. So yeah, one says, repair videos are great, mate. Well, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Turnip Gaming, thank you very much for the tenner. Thank you for the super chat. Good evening, lads. I have a question. When it comes to high wattage phone chargers, like Samsung 45 watt fast charging, should you... That's average by modern standards.
That's
which is
really low
but,
wattage.
Yeah.
But also,
should you purchase a genuine charger directly from their website as a general rule?
I always make sure that I have a branded charger, just so if at any point there is an issue, I can go.
I was using a real charger. Yeah.
It's a case of I can always step back and go, definitely wasn't an issue with the charger because here is the Samsung charger with my Samsung phone.
Yeah.
It's not a compatibility issue. Just because I got really burnt by the Samsung S8, where it doesn't support bidirectional charging on certain cables and certain chargers.
Yeah.
Even though the charger and cable supports birotational charging.
Interesting. Yeah.
And just stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think these days with
However,
power delivery, I think power delivery has now settled out enough that you can just buy a 65 watt PD charger and just let the phone take whatever it wants.
It depends on whether the device is following a spec or not.
Yeah, that's true.
Because if it's is it Xiaomi who have VOOC charging? Bugger, can't remember.
Yeah.
If it's VOOC charging, you have to have a VOOC charger.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If it is the Realme Ultra charging, whatever that's called, you have to have the Realme Ultra charging device. However, if it is a USB power delivery 45 watt, any USB power delivery charger that does 45 watt will be fine.
Yeah.
Again, the usual comment of use Anker, use Lenovo, use Dell, etc.
Yes, absolutely don't buy a cheap Chinese charger. However, yeah, I mean, I would look up what the phone supports. If the phone actually has proper power delivery support, I need to clean my glasses properly. I just cleaned them and they're still a smeary mess. If the phone actually has proper USB power delivery support, then I don't think it matters too much.
Yeah.
because like, you know, my Pixel 6, I charge that from just a 65-watt PD charger that I have on my bench.
Yeah.
And that works great. However, if oh, there it is. But yeah, if it's a phone where it does actually have its own spec for charging, as Caradox says, like the Xiaomi's or probably one of the OnePluses or something like that, then yeah, you may have to look up what it actually supports. I think most phones like that have some kind of exotic charge method probably come with the super duper charger.
Yeah,
though, don't
yeah,
they?
yeah. They do, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just if you wanted another one.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Let's see. Is it true that using fast chargers worsens the battery health? Well, I think.
In a sample size of 1,
Yeah.
for me, I would say no.
Mm.
But also a case of I've not had anything that does fast charging above 45 watt.
Yeah.
Um,
I get just some of the modern ones where they're talking like 65 watts and like
150.
I was going to say some of them pushing 100. You know, I'm just like just on principle, I can't believe that that's good for the battery kind of thing. Personally, for me, my rule of thumb, because I think like stuffing power into the battery that fast, there's no way that it's good for the battery. I don't think you're going to shred it in a short space of time, but my policy is always I slow charge my phones unless I actually need them to fast charge. So like most of the time I charge my phone on my my home charger, which is just like a 2-amp charger. So I'm effectively just trickle charging it because it's at home on my desk for the evening. It doesn't need to charge up fast. Then if I'm actually caught short, and I need to plug it into my PD charger, so like, you know, I've come into work and the battery's on like 8% or something like that, I'll usually give it a blast for like, you know, 15, 20 minutes just to get it up to like, I don't know, 60% or something like that. And then I'll put it on the slow charger again. I think the critical part is not supercharging above 80%. Because that's what lipos don't like. They don't like being above 80%.
Yeah. I was going to say, I would say that you don't need to bother with that, just because at least on the limited testing I've done with my phones, they automatically just murderize the charge rate above about 70% anyway.
That's fair, yeah.
They automatically drop to like 1 amp 5-volt charging.
Yeah. That's fair then, yeah. If they actually self-throttle that way, then it sounds like they've kind of made sure that's not an issue.
Yeah, and the only reason I leave it on a fast charger is if I'm then like using the phone, so I've got the screen on and I'm doing something, but also need it to charge. It can power the device over the USB, but also charge at full speed.
Yeah.
And just that's the only reason I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it's not a huge issue, and again, is the thing to remember is, you know, you don't have to wait for your phone to be fully charged before taking it off charge. You know, if you're aware that you're charging it, you know, as soon as it hits 80% ish, you can just take it off charge again. But,
the other thing
that much being said, though, if you're a super heavy phone user and you need all that back, like for me, I'm not a heavy phone user. I usually get 2 days out of my phone without any problems at all.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a heavy phone user and you're struggling to get through a day with your phone, then obviously, you know, short charging your phone may not be very desirable.
Yeah. It's also to a degree a case of trying to minimize your battery usage anyway. And just using things like battery saver, using things like dark mode.
Yeah.
Just because if you can reduce the number of cycles you're doing on the battery anyway, that will help it last longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Does mess up your battery, does don't care because it just means more people upgrade their phones faster. I think it's a bit of column A and a bit of column B. I think there was certainly a stage where there was just no interest in preservation of life on the phone. But I think with modern phones now, the power management is sophisticated enough that, as Caradox says, as soon as they hit 80%, the charge speed is going to crash down to a significantly lower amount.
Yeah.
And yeah, like at the end of the day, it's no worse than the way that most people treat their phones previously. Because even if you're not supercharging, remember that like a lot of people, they're going to charge up their phone and leave it, and it may spend. If you charge your phone in the evening and you leave it plugged in from the early evening all the way through the night at 100%, then that is arguably just as bad, because the battery is just sitting at 100% for long periods of time, which LiPo doesn't like. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts, really. So it is really difficult to get actual real figures on this and not just hearsay as such. And stop running the battery below 20% as well. Yeah, try to avoid letting the battery sink too low. I am a heavy phone user. My phone is a Motorola brick. It weighs 3 kilograms. I don't know what kind of accent I was trying to do then. What do you think about the new iPhone clean energy charging?
What?
No, I'm not sure what that means either. What is the phone clean energy charging? Is that to do with phones trying to charge during off-peak or something?
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like on the Pixel devices, though. You're saying about leaving them at 100%.
Yeah.
They've got what they call adaptive charge. So if you've got an alarm set and you plug your phone in at night, it just will not charge to 100% until the alarm goes off. So you can plug it in. It will charge up to 80% and then stop. And then once the alarm goes off, or sorry, not when the alarm goes off, but in time for the alarm to go off, it will then hit 100%. Which I think's a good middle ground balance on that.
Some of this stuff has been retroactively applied as well. Like my my old Huawei P20, when that got the Android 13
I think
update.
it'll be on the Android 13 update.
That's got smart charging because that sits plugged in on the front counter now to run the card machine all the time, and it sits at 80% battery. And it actually has a notification saying to preserve, you're always plugged in. To preserve the battery, your phone will not has not gone past 80%. Tap here to charge or something like that,
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat that got added in.
Yeah, there does seem to have been a lot of battery management stuff added into Android from 11 and 12.
Yeah, because like I do agree with the to an extent with the skepticism from people about manufacturers just not caring about the battery health and stuff like that, because quote unquote built-in obsolescence. However, we are seeing modern innovation that leads us to believe that they are actually trying their best.
Yeah.
Or,
do you want to keep any of these?
Trying somehow. None of the wire ties, no.
Oh, excuse me.
Let's see. And they'll only charge while the grid is being fed with clean energy and not coal and stuff like that. US feature only, I believe. Interesting.
I mean, certainly if it's avoiding coal, that's always a good thing.
If they've got...
Because boy howdy, the fact that anyone uses coal.
Yeah, well, certainly coal, yeah. Have we got any coal left in the UK? We're mostly gas,
we have, I think, 2 coal stations on permanent standby, meaning they are ready to turn on instantly, but are not running. And I think there's another 4 or 5 that are certified for use, but would need to go through a startup procedure.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case of they're a couple of hours to power sort of thing. So yeah, there's
not
that.
too bad, yeah.
But then it's a case of our energy mix is about 50 over a year is about 47-48% gas.
Yeah.
On a rolling 24-hour over winter, it will probably be 70-80% gas.
Interesting. Yeah. At any rate, certainly if they've got the infrastructure in place to be able to signal devices to only charge when there's clean power available, that's super cool. I think that's a very cool idea. You know, if assuming it works, you know, the theory is a great idea. Whether it works or not is another question.
Absolutely. And obviously, it's a case of you can ask the question of, oh, but why does it matter? The iPhone is only a total of what, 5 watt-hours, say. Sure, but if that's every single iPhone for every single user across the entirety of America, that's a difference.
Add it all up.
Yeah.
It's also a matter of
that is the UK's current power generation.
Oh, neat.
By source.
Yeah.
55.4% is from coal and gas, of which 0.7 is coal. Right now.
Very cool.
We have 3.13 gigawatts coming from wind.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, neat. Yeah, I think even if it's like not massively effective because it's just a couple of phones per se, it's also just about the attitude. It's about starting to put into place procedures and concepts for this, because right now it might only be phones, but if we can but once we've got that in place and working, it's very easy to say, cool, now let's make it so people's hot water tanks only heat when there's clean water, when there's clean energy available.
Yeah.
Because those can stay hot for days on end.
Yeah.
So, you know, suddenly, and if you've now got it set up so people's hot water storage tanks...
We have just gone live, according to my phone.
Thanks. If you've now got it so people's hot water storage tanks are only heating when there's clean energy available, that's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Because now you're talking about kilowatts, as opposed to 5 singular watts kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's also a case of, as Liam was saying, with electric cars coming, it's very much a thing of, with my one, we only charge it overnight, specifically, absolutely will not charge between about 4:30 and 9 at night, because that is the peak load.
Yeah.
And it's just a case of, I don't need it to charge at this time.
Yeah.
So I can take, 7.5 kilowatts of load and time shift that to later in the day.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I? So yeah, it's just a case of, we charge it specifically after midnight, just because that's when the load drops off significantly.
Does the car have the scheduling functionality for that? Yeah, that's cool.
I don't know of a single electric car that doesn't have that.
Yeah, that's good, because I knew that was a thing, that was a feature. I just didn't know if it was something that everything had.
Yeah. Certainly everything other than like the first gen Nissan Leaf, and the first gen Nissan Leaf is 16 years old this year, 17 years old this year. Yeah. And probably like the Tesla Roadster, it's about the same age.
Yeah.
So, but almost everything other than that,
Impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that's very nice as well is it builds in other features with that timer, like you can set it to cool and heat the car a couple of minutes before you usually drive away in the morning.
That's nice.
So it can do that off of the mains and not use the battery, just stuff like that. It's not a thing that you have to have, but it's just a thing that's nice to have, because it's a case of, if you live somewhere where every morning your car's going to be slightly uncomfortably warm, it can cool it slightly. Or if you live somewhere like we do, where it's generally cold in the morning, you can have it do, 5 minutes of heating, so it's just nice and warm and ready.
That's nice quality of life, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's just
if you're going to use the energy to heat up the car, you may as well do it off the mains than off of the car battery.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's also a case of, to me, I feel like it's a way of selling the feature to people who don't care. Because you can be like, oh yeah, but if you set the on-peak, off-peak hours and the charging, you can also have this nice quality of life thing where the car is at the temperature you want every time you get in it in the morning.
Yeah.
And you can sell it on that front. It's like selling a password manager. You don't sell a password manager on the security it gives people. You go, you will never need to remember a password again. It will autofill everything.
Yeah.
That's what you sell it on, is the convenience on how it makes things nice. So yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Turner Gaming, thank you for the tenner again.
Yeah.
You're asking about genuine chargers because you've got a general rule to always purchase a Samsung fast charger because it'll always be better quality than cheap knockoff chargers. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it will.
But also a case of, you probably only need one every 5 years.
Yeah.
Because there's not that much difference.
Yeah.
So, So yes, it's good. It's good. I'll be interested in the Lightyear one. I am interested in the Lightyear one because it's a car that was designed to be basically the most efficient vehicle possible.
What's
while
the
still
Lightyear
being...
one?
That's what I'm saying. That's actually what I'm saying.
Okay, but like, who makes it? You know?
Lightyear.
Oh, I see. Is that a new brand?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
So yes,
A new car manufacturer,
Lightyear
yeah.
one is an electric vehicle that is designed to be as efficient as possible,
Ah, okay.
whilst still being a car
Yeah.
in the traditional sense of a car. So having heated seats and air
Yes.
conditioning and a radio and
Yeah.
electric windows and so on. So
Its
kind of all
design
of
is
that
very
stuff.
human.
Um,
That's a very obscure reference.
Sure. But yeah, the only problem is that Lightyear have run into significant financial issues the past couple of months. Just because, yeah, they have not been able to generate the cash flow.
Yeah, starting a car company. Yeah, that's
it's
tough,
really
man.
hard.
Yeah.
And it's a case of it's designed to be an ultra premium, ultra luxury category vehicle.
Yeah.
Because I think it's £200,000. It might be 250,000.
That's going to be a tough sell.
So
yeah.
it's aimed at that very niche area.
Yeah.
But they knew it was a niche product when they did it, and
Yeah.
they've sold to that category. The issue is the cash flow part.
Yeah.
And also it's a case of as Potato? No, there's no second T. Botaldo, I'm going to go with that, said it's almost self-sufficient from solar panels. It should recharge based on, I think it was on their numbers were for peak efficiency, it should recharge something like 5,000 miles a year.
So it's got its own built-in solar panels?
Yeah, the entire top of the car is solar panel.
Fair enough.
So it should, on 100% output from those panels, regenerate effectively enough distance to do 5,000 miles a year. So obviously you take that into the real world and, okay, it's now 4,000 miles. But that's 4,000 miles from the car sitting in the car park every day.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah, all right. I was going to say...
That. In the UK, that's 2,500 miles that you don't have to plug it into charge for.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's impressive, though.
Yeah. Like, cars with built-in solar has historically always very much been a gimmick. However, if they're saying they can get that many miles out of it, that's still a sizable offset.
Yeah, it is not self-sufficient in the fact of you'll never need to charge it.
It's just a
But it's also the
offset,
case of, obviously, you'll offset so much of it. And because they've designed the vehicle to do, sort of 7, 8, 9 miles per kilowatt, when most electric cars are 4.5, 5, maybe 5.5, it's viable because they've got so much more efficiency. Because they've pushed the efficiency so much higher that if you're driving it as an efficient person, you will get that much, obviously recharging and so on, because it needs that much less energy to do it, because we've hit that level of efficiency.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Again, depending on location, in the UK not so much. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the Aptera as well, was saying that basically they're another car company that was chasing the ultra-efficient dream, and they were saying, like, we want to release a car that will do at least 10 miles a kilowatt, and just stuff like that. So it's very interesting seeing that some people will do, a very pushing that peak efficiency thing.
Yeah. And
just how it makes, obviously, vehicles lighter. It makes them have longer ranges, require less material, be cheaper, because all of the things you need less of because of efficiency.
Yeah.
And efficiency wins in a lot of places for that.
Yeah.
That energy efficiency. So yeah, so it's very good.
Very cool. That sounds very interesting. Yeah. It's good to know there's some people out there that are trying to do that.
Yeah.
Mercedes
have also done one as well. There's a concept car they've got. I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to say it's something like EQX or something like that.
Yeah.
Where basically they were aiming for a true 1,000-kilometer range.
Wow. Yeah.
And they've done it. They did 2 test runs on it on normal roads, just driving from Germany to somewhere else and then from somewhere in the UK to somewhere else in Europe, and they got over 1,000 on both trips.
Damn.
And it's just like, that's what's impressive to me.
Yeah, that's good that they're actually doing that then. Yeah, because
absolutely.
certainly, like, because actual real world range seems to be an issue with current gen electrics. A lot of them seem to be
no.
Yeah.
Their range is less than the WLTP range, for example. But also, I don't understand why that's a problem on electrics, but not a problem when your petrol car is sold as a 38 mpg car and you get 28 out of it. But no one ever complains about that.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
From my point of view, I'm going, why are you complaining about one and not the other? That's just pure hypocrisy.
Yes, that's a very good point.
Complaining that the WLTP range of this car is 375 miles, but you only get 345. Sure, that's annoying, but also complain about the petrol car being sold as a 38 mpg car and only getting 28.
Yeah, because like I'm interested in raising a couple of points because I was talking to a relative last weekend who is a bit of a skeptic on these kinds of things, and I was sort of doing my best to steer them in a healthy direction per se.
Yeah.
However, also, there are a couple of things they were saying which I didn't have a good answer for at that time and place.
Yeah.
And you're just shooting down from a great height right now, and I was like, oh yeah, I wish I'd thought of that when I was talking to my relative.
It's also a case of, to me, I view electric cars as a very good. I think it's this bit that's the problem.
Yeah. This is.
Can you just pull it?
I need to rearrange those wires. Oh yeah, that just. Yeah, that did it.
Like that.
Yeah, that did it. I think. Yeah, this case has no room. That'll do.
There you go.
Yeah, this case has no room behind the motherboard tray.
Yeah.
And that SATA port has jumped out of place. I think. In fact, I just don't think that SATA port can be there. Continue.
Yeah. I don't know specifically what we're saying, but yes, absolutely. But it's also a case of. Just
Should be right.
for so much of it, there is such an ingrained way of thinking that people have that they are then so hesitant to try and consider a different option.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, well, where's the energy coming from for that electric car? It's not green now, is it? It's coming from gas. Right, but where's the petrol coming from for your petrol car?
Yeah, that's just it. This.
Where's all that petrol leaking out in the Congo, poisoning children?
My relative did say, he said sort of like, kids in the lithium mines kind of thing. And I did say that's whataboutism, because look at how much blood is on the oil moguls' hands.
Yeah.
Broken oil pipelines going through native, indigenous people's lands and then leaking and stuff like that. It's like, that's whataboutism. Yeah, absolutely. Lithium is nasty stuff. However, you
also need something like 15 grams for the average electric car battery.
But what we have is just as bad as all of that. However, it starts taking us in a direction where we can't. It's kind of like, like you said about people saying, oh, the electric is based on fossil fuels anyway. It's like, yes, but it's easier to control it when it's being generated in one place.
Yeah.
Whereas generating your power in an engine in a car that's on a road, it's very difficult to control the emissions when it's there. Also, you need less total energy for the electric vehicle because the vehicle's efficiency is so much higher. Because the thermal efficiency of an internal combustion engine is maybe 40% if you've got a really good one. Yeah. So,
whereas an electric vehicle battery to driven miles is like 98.5.
That's a lot
of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a case of, so now you're using way less raw joules to move. It doesn't matter quite so much what the source is. Also, obviously, it still matters from the point of environmentalism.
Yeah.
You still want that to be as clean and as good as possible.
Your start point is significantly
your start point is significantly lower energy usage. So it's kind of total system usage is lower. And that's kind of where I view it from an awful lot of stuff is from the total system usage. And also, obviously, the other point as well is if you're already, this only particularly applies if you are already buying a new car. Just replacing a vehicle and adding a new one to the world is not better for the environment than not having a vehicle at all or continue using one that already exists. Sure, I'm talking about this from the point of view of people who were already buying new vehicles and were already going to buy a new vehicle. Because obviously the thing that separately as well as we should be aiming for is reducing the number of vehicles needed, making
Yeah.
living spaces for people, not cars,
Yeah.
making living spaces for people who aren't rich.
Yes.
But that gets onto a whole different social.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah.
Yeah. But yes, these are all very valid points.
In answer to Dave Weldon, I don't have specific numbers for the total cost of ownership for an electric vehicle compared to petrol or diesel. For specific comparison, but as a generalized comparison, it's cheaper overall. Even accounting for the higher initial cost of purchase, the overall cost of ownership over 20 years will be lower. Because in general terms, you'll need to spend less on maintenance, and the cost per mile driven will be lower for the energy because you need less energy to drive that mile, and also the energy per mile is cheaper, even with the massively high electric prices we've got in the UK at the moment. So yeah, I was running the numbers on petrol at £1. Petrol at £1.50 a litre.
Yeah.
With an average efficiency of 30 mpg.
Yeah. Yeah.
With compared to UK energy prices of 55p a kilowatt.
Yeah.
Which is high for a domestic supply.
Yeah.
You will find that as long as you can get more than 2.9 miles per kilowatt, you are always cheaper than petrol.
Yeah, fair enough.
So 2.9 miles per kilowatt is the cutoff at 55p a kilowatt.
Yeah.
If energy goes below 55p a kilowatt, you can obviously drop that miles per kilowatt.
Yeah. Oh, they're over there. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's...
And obviously if petrol price goes up, then you can do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Those numbers sound quite fair to me.
No, I didn't include battery replacement because I don't believe anyone's doing 1 million miles in 20 years. And that's what basically all electric car batteries are rated for.
Yeah, certainly modern electric car batteries. Remember, electric cars from like first-gen electric cars that
Which
are now...
15 years ago.
Yeah, that are now requiring new batteries. They are not a fair comparison because technology has advanced.
Yeah.
That is certainly... It sucks to be an early adopter, don't get me wrong. However, that's not a problem that someone who buys an electric car tomorrow will have.
Yeah.
Right. Activate.
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh, that's an unhealthy bend. I'm just going to fix that. SATA cable is at a very unhealthy bend. All right.
I, without evidence, would say that that is very much incorrect, that you have 3 friends with cars that are less than 4 years old that needed battery replacements. That sounds like manufacturing defect or whataboutism to a degree. Just because you two have specifically had 3 friends yourself that needed batteries replacing at less than 4 years.
At less than 4 years, that's just
that's
under warranty.
Also a case of that will be a warranty replacement because most cars have 6, 7, 8, 10-year warranties on the battery.
That's easily in warranty replacement, and then not
which is also longer than the warranty on your petrol car.
Yeah.
So your petrol car will come with 2-year.
They're not going to warranty a battery that only lasts for 4 years, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's very much something is actually wrong there. That you know, like even if that's even if that's a thing that has actually occurred, kind of thing, there's no way that's the norm, not by a long shot.
No, absolutely.
Because that would genuinely be absurd if the battery only lasted 4 years. That's actually there's no way that's how it should work. So yeah, 1 million miles on a battery. Yeah, I mean, is it actually 1 million miles? Is that? What
that's what Tesla is saying for all of their Model S and Model 3 batteries from about 2018.
Yeah,
I think it was 2017, 2018. That's what they said. They expect 20% degradation over 1 million miles. I think it was.
Yeah, I think 1 million miles sounds very optimistic. But even if you said, even if we said that someone did 10,000 miles a year.
Yeah.
If you owned the car for 10 years, that would be 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
So 20 years would be 200,000 miles. So even if it's only half what they're saying it can do, that's still 30 or 40 years lifespan is what they're estimating. And that's assuming that it can only do half what they're estimating. So even if we go further than that, say
30 years, no, 20 years.
20 years, sorry, yeah. Yeah. So even if we say it can only do a quarter of that, it's still doing very well.
Yeah.
And now we're down to saying that it can only do a quarter of the claimed numbers.
Which is still 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is still the warranty length.
Yeah, and that's assuming
on a lot of
10,000.
cars.
Yeah, and that's assuming 10,000 miles a year, which most people don't do.
Which is quite high for the UK, which is
Yeah.
obviously a case of that's UK.
Yeah.
You know, you get into 1%ers in America, you know, they're doing way higher than that, much bigger
Now,
country.
Of course, we are. This is bearing in mind that you know, this is very much taking the manufacturer's numbers.
Normal is 20,000 a year. No,
Absolutely
it is not.
No.
Normal in the UK is five to 6,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say 20,000 miles a year. That's not normal.
That is absolutely not normal,
yeah.
and that is 0.5%ism.
Yeah. Yeah, no, nowhere near that amount. Yeah, poor manufacturer on Chevy Bolts, known issues. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, even if the electric vehicle has the energy coming from coal, the total emissions should be comparable to a petrol car, even if it 100% comes from coal. And as far as I'm aware, there isn't a single grid that is 100% coal.
Yeah. And in terms of public transport going electric, that one's a bit trickier. Like for trains, obviously, then yeah, that's a no-brainer. Electric buses and stuff like that, this one's a bit more complicated because
it makes more sense though, because most routes,
yeah,
certainly again when you're talking about specific city-based routes, the routes aren't particularly long, and you're always leaving from and going back to a depot.
Yeah.
So you can have the charging in the depot, and obviously the other thing as well is if you wanted to, you can just modify the route lengths.
Yeah.
You can modify the route length and just effectively have half coverage on two different routes.
Yeah. Also, I seem to remember the last time I checked that the sort of new gen electric buses are actually really hecking good, but
yeah.
I don't know enough about to be able to make an argument on that, I guess. So
yeah.
I mean, ultimately, the end of the day, electric is the way it's going to go, like it or not. So.
Yeah. And it's a case of it's important for everyone to make sure that that is as good as it can be.
Yeah, because this is the thing.
Ultimately, I think the point is a case of making sure that no one's getting short-shifted on that, and making sure that people are getting the best vehicles and so on they can.
I think this is the reason why, you know, I would very much sort of support an electric future, because it's a case of we're going to run out of oil.
Yeah.
This is assured. That's not up for debate. You know, arguably we're already running out of oil. This is a fact. Petrol is finite. We are running out of it. Therefore, we have to go electric. So
yeah. Well, we have to go non-petrol, non-diesel.
Sure, yeah.
The thing that we have the best setup for right now is certainly electric.
Yeah, so at that point, it's a case of, well, we may as well be pushing for better electric.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. But yes. That much being said, though, we are in the early days of electric still. There are going to be some hang-ups, one way or the other. But the fact that there are some hang-ups shouldn't mean that it's not something to be adopted. And in addition to that, I think we're very quickly racing past, like, you know, as said, the early electric cars that are, you know, 15 years old now, they're certainly showing signs of wear and tear, make no mistake. But, you know, we have already had a lot of development since then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think we're seeing vast improvements. I think there's still a lot more improvement to make, but that's why we should be demanding better, kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is in no way a comment from my point of view of saying, oh, we should settle for what we have. No, absolutely not. Yeah. I mean, look at what we got with petrol cars. You compare petrol cars today to petrol cars from 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago, and how much more comfortable they are, how much smoother to drive they are, how much easier to drive they are, and so on, because of changes in gearboxes, changes in engines, because of ECUs, things like that. It's not to say that we should accept what we have. We should always be aiming for better. We should always be aiming to improve. And I think that applies to basically every facet of one's life
Yeah.
to aim to make it better. And it doesn't particularly matter how big or small that improvement is, but a case of if you can make everything a little bit better, you've made everything a little bit better.
Yeah, and you're moving in the right direction. Quite a few people saying that they've got hydrogen buses in their area, which I think is quite interesting.
Yeah, hydrogen for large commercial vehicles, for buses, makes absolute sense.
Yeah,
because
like for cars, I don't think it works.
Because they have a depot.
Yeah.
Where you have equipment that goes to and from a depot, it makes absolute sense. The difficulty with hydrogen, certainly today, is the production of it and the transport of it to enough locations for it to be useful to an end consumer.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty we've got at the moment because it has such low volumetric energy density.
Yeah. Yeah. Hydrogen needs exploring more than electric. Potentially, but it's that's where it comes down to the fact of electric is better for what we have now, because both hydrogen and electric require infrastructure, but we already have an awful lot more electric infrastructure than we do hydrogen. But that's where, again, if you have access to a depot, then hydrogen is an awful lot easier. And ultimately, yeah. Also, I support the people who are supporting milk floats, the original electric vehicles. I grew up with the milk floats trundling around, and I can still remember in my head the noise at like 5 or 6 in the morning of the electric whir of the milk float going up and down the road. I can still hear it in my head. Yeah, I'm not going to try and do an impersonation of it, but yeah.
I have no idea, yeah.
Glass milk bottles on the doorstep in the morning with your silver cap. And
I would like us to go back to glass bottles for virtually everything.
Yeah.
Bin plastic. Well, no, don't bin plastic. Bin the concept of plastic. Eliminate plastic from the consumer. It will be better for everyone.
On a more useful topic, Jim asks, what Antec case was that? It is a... What is it?
P5? Yeah, P5 Ultimate Silent Micro ATX case.
Yeah. It's an Antec P5.
It is
Yeah, don't like it, personally.
Oh, we're missing the antennas for this computer. Are they still in the box?
Should be, or are they here? There's a pair of antennas here.
Yeah, which are for the other board.
Oh, I see.
The ones for that board are still in this board's box. That's right.
Yeah. I'll sort all this into appropriate boxes probably next week.
I know I moved them, but I suddenly went, oh, where did I put them?
They're not lost is the important thing.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you.
Stop using zip ties. Why?
Yeah, well, yeah, to a degree, because plastic.
Plastic. Yeah.
And obviously you can reuse sandwich ties.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Which is why I try and use sandwich ties when I think of it.
Yeah.
Just because I have so many of them, because everything comes with one.
Yeah.
So I just reuse stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like Velcro ties. I try to put Velcro ties on stuff where I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It depends. I think sometimes you've got to pick your fights.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously, I'm just viewing this from the point of view of where I have a lot of sandwich ties. I use the sandwich ties. If I had no sandwich ties, I'd use cable ties.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it is kind of a case of absolutely.
Yeah.
With everything we do, it's a case of if you can go, oh, I can easily change this one thing and slightly reduce my plastic, slightly reduce my miles driven, etc., etc. It's all good for everyone.
Very well.
Yeah.
Jim says use an Antec P7 silent for the wife's home office PC. It's okay. Yeah. Sometimes the bigger version of a case is significantly nicer than the smaller one. I have seen it where I have used a particular case and been like, oh, this is not nearly as nice as I thought. And then I've seen its big brother and like, oh, this one's way nicer, or the other way around. I've used the big one and been like, oh, that was a lovely case. And in the next build, I've been like, oh, this is an office PC. I'll get the baby version of it because that was really nice. Baby one shows up and it's really nasty and plasticky. I'm like, oh, this is not nearly as good as the big one. This is the cheap one,
Yeah.
So, yeah, sometimes different sizes of the case can be drastically different build qualities, I've noticed.
Which is a shame.
Yeah. I don't think it's something I'd expect to see on enthusiast cases, but
Yeah.
certainly on office cases, run-of-the-mill office cases like these,
Yeah.
it can be a very real
Yeah.
thing.
I think that's something that Fractal nailed, and Leanne Lee. Just having those different sizes of cases be just different sizes, still having the same build quality and so on them.
Yeah.
However, we have successfully built 2 computers.
We have. Right, I'm going to do one more pass on the chat, I think, and then we'll wrap up, because
Yeah,
we're at the
absolutely.
3-hour mark, so
And
yeah.
also, magically, the microphones lasted.
Yeah, I'm amazed, because I'm fairly certain I didn't charge that one from last week, but then they're supposed to be able to do 7 hours. And it only got 2 hours of use last week, so yeah, it should have had another 3 hours.
Oh yeah,
easy.
absolutely. But just a case of
That's fair. Right, so just some quick coverage. Turnip said, mentioned in the chat earlier, I think hybrids are best of both worlds because electric in cities, combustion long distance. Theoretically, yes. In
they're
practical,
awful.
yeah.
They're just awful.
The theory of plug-in hybrids is great. They should be good.
But you get a crap petrol or diesel. I don't know of many diesel hybrids.
Yeah.
And you get a bad electric.
Yeah.
You get, of the ones that are on sale in the UK,
Yeah.
they seem to be equivalent of about 2 to 2.5 miles per kilowatt.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a case of,
because like
a real full electric car, you're looking at like 4 to 5.
Yeah,
without
like
basically any.
Because you're cruising around in a modern VW hybrid at the moment,
Yeah,
and
right
it just seems to be the weak parts of both worlds.
Yeah.
And it's just it has the potential to be amazing. The theory is brilliant, but the actual practical reality of it just isn't very good.
The thing that makes
it's
more
not very good at being petrol, and it's not very good at being electric.
The thing that makes more sense to me is range extender engine. So using the engine as range extender. So you take the engine, it's a tiny 800 cc or something like that, stick a generator on it, power from that into car.
Isn't that how the Chevy Bolt worked?
I can't remember. One of them, I believe, had it as a range extender setup.
Yeah, it was hybrid electric.
Yeah. It's also how there was a model of the BMW i3 that was a range extender version.
Yeah.
And the engine did not drive the wheels. The only actual drive chain for the wheels was electric.
Yeah.
But you could put petrol in it and extend its electric range.
Yeah.
But also it had a decent electric range on it. But it was just good from that. And also a case of there is a version of the standard black cab, the electric black cab, that's a range extender version as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is good.
Very well. Let's see. In a few years' time, cases will be rare as computers move to SoC format. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's a whole other conversation, I guess. I think it's going to be a very long time since we genuinely see the death of the desktop PC format. For office PCs, I kind of agree. I think we are certainly going in that direction. I'm surprised at how long it's taking for all-in-one computers to make sense. There's some really nice all-in-ones out there, but also a lot of all-in-ones are still just really like, really? Is this the best you could do?
Yeah, they seem to have low-quality screens, low-quality plastics, and slow internals.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a case of it's just...
And an actually good all-in-one is just very expensive for its spec. Yeah, I noticed that as well. It's got crap feet on it. It's not a screw-in, I don't think. It's just a clip-on, I think. Unless is there a screw in there?
Yeah.
Don't know. So yeah, I think all-in-ones are the magic bullet to that. So yeah, which is why I'm also very annoyed at how expensive the modern iMac is.
What is your malfunction?
The only good hybrids you know of are high-performance production cars and Scania trucks. Yeah. BMW i3 had less than a 100-mile range on a full charge when it came out. Oof, yeah, that's not enough to really be useful at that point.
I mean, that's still super useful for like 90% of UK driving.
I guess, yeah.
Because most people, I think for the UK, it was either 90 or 95 percentile commutes were 5 miles or less.
Yeah, I suppose.
So with 100 mile of range, that's a week's driving
something tough pills to swallow. It's just like the mileage that people think they do is not the mileage
Yeah.
they actually do.
That's again based off of numbers from insurers as opposed to vehicle manufacturers, but
Yeah.
insurers are probably going to be running the most stringent
Well,
statistics
yeah,
on
that's it. It's objectively in their interest to know this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And they said something like 90 or 95% of people did less than 5-mile commute in the UK.
Yeah.
So certainly for a 100-mile range in the UK is absolutely entirely more than most people need for the majority of their driving. But it's a case of, obviously, I would want to see cars sold with no less than 200, just because that means you can cover 50% of the country here. Yeah.
Yeah. Goofy says, in my company, everyone's got 2 monitors. It'd be kind of weird with one monitor being an all-in-one. Yeah, I think we need to, also with all-in-ones, it needs to be more normalized. They need to be a more normal shape, because a lot of all-in-one PCs have got weird stand setups on them, and they've just got terrible stands. I'm like, I don't understand. You take a monitor, you strap a PC to the back of it. Why are you overcomplicating this?
Yeah.
And
it's also a case of, the thing I want to see is just like the compute sticks.
Yeah.
Literally just a sticky outy HDMI port.
Yeah.
Standard monitor. Ta-da!
Yeah, I think you're getting into sort of thin client areas at that point, but...
Well, but I've seen them with, like, proper i3s in. And if it's got a proper i3 in it, and it's got 8 gigs of RAM or 16 gigs of RAM...
Yeah, maybe.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah. I'd like to see someone coming out with something in the style of an Intel NUC, but it's specifically designed to just duct tape to the back of your monitor or something like that. I don't know.
A couple of the generations of the Square NUCs came with VESA mounts built into the case.
Oh, yeah,
so you could literally just mount it to the VESA mount.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did I have a look at the Dell board that I was talking about earlier on? I didn't get time. I was working on a battery replacement and just ran out of time. I will be coming back to that one though, while floor lamp, just because it's a customer repair, and also unfortunately it seems that my laptop has now got exactly the same fault. So I need to look at it on both.
Oh, interesting.
However, having had the conversation with you, I've got a lot to think about and a lot to look at, because after you mentioned about the input inductor network and also potential TVS diodes and stuff, I was like, oh, actually, there's a lot in that area that could be pulling that rail to ground and causing the fault that we've got. And just for context, I've got 2 Dell laptops that will not charge their batteries. And it looks like the system present line on both of them is broken, potentially because a battery has broken them.
Oh dear.
But yeah, it's a very interesting implementation of battery protection. So I will try and make a video about it, just because it's a very extreme and over-engineered example of battery protection. So if you can look at that and understand it, then it gives you a very good understanding of the kind of thing you might see in terms of battery protection in a laptop. Check charger signal, but it's not a charger issue. It's the battery. Yeah. So yes. Anyway, that is all.
Indeed, that is everything.
Yes. I have enjoyed this conversation in English. What are we going to do with the 2 PCs that we built? These are for client. A client commissioned me to build 4 PCs for them. He bought in a lot of boxes of parts and said, could you assemble 4 PCs out of all these parts? That has been done. Got to install Windows on these too, but I'll do that after the weekend now, and they will be ready to collect.
Indeed.
So yeah,
Okay,
Sai, thank you for doing the thing. And that's it.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, you say nodding at me. It's like, this is the point where you click the end stream button.
Yes.
All right, I'll do it.
It's goodbye from him and goodbye from me.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all of the things. See you guys soon. Bye for now.
Ta-ra.
Oh.
Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.